Hello and welcome to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
And I'm Todd Anderson.
And we've got Rob in the booth today. Welcome back, Todd. Rob.
Welcome back, Todd. Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. Glad to have Todd here with us today.
Good question. Do you currently own the marbles?
Yes.
Okay, so we're playing for something today.
Spoiler alert,
for something today.
I won Tuesday's show.
Oh, man. Man, you just spoiled the YouTube video that went up yesterday. Dang. Sound like you make 6 hours of video every week.
Yeah. Hopefully y'all have had time to catch that. If you didn't watch us live on Tuesday, Corey and I played a little bit of Standard, and now Todd and I are going to get into some Modern. We've been playing a lot of Standard because of the previous season for Innistrad Crimson Vow. Now, finally time to look at the impact that set has had on older formats, and, you know, depending upon how you look at it, Modern's pretty popular right now. I don't think people are clamoring for much change, but not a ton of impact here from Innistrad Crimson Vow. But there have been some changes over the last couple of weeks in the metagame, mainly in the way a lot of decks are built. So we're going to be playing some decks today that have new Innistrad Crimson Vow cards, and some that are just sort of updated versions of decks that you're already familiar with.
Yeah.
I'm going to be starting with my favorite deck in all of Modern, and a breakout star from last weekend that was Gruul Belcher. Won the Modern Showcase Challenge and the regular challenge that was held over the weekend, with another copy in the top 8 of the regular challenge, I believe. So 3 top 8s, both trophies. It's now firmly established itself, I think, as a major player in Modern and a deck that people need to start respecting.
So I'll say this. I wasn't sure if people going to the Vegas event, I don't know if it's a Grand Prix or what's it called?
I don't know.
Is it just
the tournament?
There's a Magic tournament in Las Vegas. There's a bunch of people going. I don't know if you heard about this. But this new Belcher deck or whatever, like, it's been around for a couple months, but it hasn't really, like, taken off. Like, it won one event, like, a month and a half ago, and you played it on Versus once or twice. And, like, just winning both events in a single weekend of, like, large tournaments, and it was almost the exact same list, if not the exact same list.
Pretty close, I think.
Kind of bonkers. Maybe it's just, like, completely messed up. And we played a few games before we started, and Ross just kind of slap me around a little.
But you know that means I'm going to lose when we actually play.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
Oh, I know how it works. I fully more.
You know, this list deviates a little bit from the one that we've seen Sodek play, and he's been the major champion of the archetype in a few small ways. One is eschewing Blood Moon from the main deck. That was a card that Sodek liked. I think he had 4 main deck copies when he won the challenge a couple of weeks ago. This has 0 copies in the main. Instead, it maxes out on Pact Negations in the main deck, so you can play through counter spells effectively. Plays the Pyromancer Ascension in the main. A lot of lists had it in the sideboard.
It allows for, like, a bunch of weird one-of combos or whatever, right?
Yeah, you set up a loop with Reforge the Soul and Recross the Paths. That's a way to win if your Belcher is needled, for example.
Sure.
Things like that. So I really like Pact of Negation. I think it just makes it so much easier to beat counterspell decks, and it's really good with Belcher because even if you're tapping out for the Belcher and don't have the 3 mana activated, as long as you have 3 lands in play, you can untap and with the Pact trigger on the stack, Belch your opponent and win the game before you have to pay the 3 blues. So
it's honestly one of the stronger Pact of Negation combo decks I've seen. Like, Pact of Negation is rarely like a card you want to play in a combo deck because you have to kill your opponent before you pay the 5 mana. Otherwise, you just lose. And it's really only good as, like, a protection spell from other counter spells. It's not that good against discard, and it's not that good against, like, someone who's just trying to, like, play a permanent, like Eidolon of the Great Rebel or whatever, right? So, I mean, the deck looks really cool. I'm going to be playing, mid-range, as I'm being forced to call it. This is a deck that's been around for a couple months now. Plays Dragon Race Channeler and Ragavan and Murktide Regent and a bunch of counter spells and removal.
Yeah.
It's just your classic Izzet strat.
It waned a lot, I think, over the last few weeks and has come back into the metagame. Most notably, the stock list are no longer playing Thought Scour. They're playing Consider in that slot.
Yeah.
Still playing Serum Visions because they need sorceries for Delirium. Otherwise, I think you would see Thought Scour and Consider and no Serum Visions. But playing for Consider, Scour certainly much better with Murktide Regent itself.
Yep.
And that was the main reason they were playing it. But Consider significantly better with Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Yep.
Because when you mill yourself with Thought Scour, you essentially always just mill the 3rd card with the Surveil trigger. Now you get a little bit more optionality. there. So not a huge change to this deck, but wanted to showcase it, and should be a good matchup with Belcher. I know the first time we played this deck, it was in a sort of tier 2 show. We played it against a Temur control deck, which is very similar to this, but didn't have the red creatures. It was playing Ice Fang Quaddles and Snowlands, and so just didn't really have the pressure.
Right.
And I was able to, just play long games and win, set up to beat the counter spells. Now, the pressures are going to be really, really important from this side. Now, one last thing before we get started. I wanted to highlight the companion in this latest list of Belcher. They're playing a Kahira, which on the surface looks pretty bad to me, just because you're basically never going to do a whole lot with it, though no one really ever does a whole lot with Kahira anyway. But I thought it was really cool because it does allow you to have cards that pitch to Force of Vigor, an extra card if you need it. But when you reveal this in a closed deck list tournament, a lot of the time your opponent is going to think, oh, they're playing Elementals, they're playing Control, something of that ilk, and you're playing a completely different deck. So not going to matter here since Todd knows exactly what I'm playing, but definitely a cool card to have if you just want to get some bluff value.
Yeah.
And your sideboard slots are very low value in decks like this. You don't sideboard much anyway, so
I think it's worth it just for the Force of Vigor, honestly. Like I played a lot with like Yorion and the 80 card, Cascade into Crashing Footfalls deck.
You just want to pitch it to Solitude.
I pitched it to Solitude every game, and it was excellent every time. So like 3 mana to turn on your pitch spells just lets them be a split pitch or 3 mana version. So, all right. Well, you have the marble, so I go first.
That is how this works.
So one thing about this deck that if we compared these two decks on paper, I would actually just say that I'm heavily favored because I have a bunch of like counter spells and stuff in my deck and cheap 1-mana creatures. But Ross is just able to combo from so few actual lands in play that I can just like never not hold up counter magic, and that's just kind of terrifying. So I'm gonna keep mine.
I will keep as well.
All right, go.
I will play a Valakut Stoneforge.
Go.
Play a Strike It Rich.
Sure.
Get a Treasure. Then I'll play a Shadow Skull tapped. No pressure here from Todd is very nice to see. It means I can take my time setting up.
Yeah. Not loving this. I kept like a hand in the dark that would have been pretty good against a wide array of opponents, and it's still maybe not that bad, but just doesn't have the pressure.
Okay, I am going to actually let's play a Turn Timber this turn, get some green mana going. Go to 17.
Okay.
And just flashback Striker Rich.
Okay.
Pass the turn. I could even pay for attack negation.
All right. Well, we drew a threat, so I'm gonna play it and say go. Hope I don't die. I don't think it's right to counter either half a Strike It Rich. I could have, but I don't know. Not having the creature early, I'm gonna mulligan pretty aggressively after this game.
So 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'll go to 14.
Okay. Probably means I'm dead. We'll see what happens.
I will play Recross the Paths.
That's fine. So Ross basically just gets to stack his whole deck, but I can't interact with it because he could just easily play a Ritual and then just cast a Charbelcher or something in hand. And the Ragavan will play this little dancing game of, does he want to put both of those Reforges on top? What are you doing? Why are you shuffling?
It doesn't matter. We're just going for it this turn.
Okay.
Then I will play Manamorphose.
I'll try to counterspell it, I think. Trying to counterspell it now while he's like really low on mana, but
I will pack the negation of the counterspell.
Okay. Only have the one
So make red
counterspell.
green. Then I'll Desperate Ritual, go to 3 red, sack the treasure, play Ironcrag Feet, get 7 red, then play Belcher. 3 red floating.
Okay.
Belcher.
Cool.
Yeah. If you would save the counterspell for the Belcher, then I can't go for the feet, but then I just have Belcher in play, and I get to do the play I talked about where I respond to my own pack trigger.
Yeah, I couldn't draw my 1-up Brazen Bar. Let's see if I would have. All right, so draw that. I'm going to attack you and get a random card.
Sure. I guess I would definitely put a bad card on here, like not additional mana.
Sure. Top
there you go. Here's a Song Mad Treachery.
Expressive Iteration. All right, bricked.
Yeah, so had Todd been a little bit more patient with his counterspell, it's the one awkward thing with Pact Negation is it's very bad with Ironcrag Feet.
Yeah.
But there, because I was going to have to use both my treasures in order to combo off with the Manamorphose after the recross, I wasn't going to be able to pay for the pack, so if you had 2 counterspells somehow, I was just dead. But seemed
I did have 2 counterspells, and I could have waited to try to draw a land, but I felt like a 5th land was a lot to ask for.
Yeah. I could have potentially... I had Spikefield Hazard as my last card, so I could have just killed the monkey and played a longer game.
Yeah.
But you know me, I always jam.
Always jam. Keep. My hand is great. Trying to turn the energy up a little, Ross.
You just fetching.
Well, I'm waiting to see what you do.
I will keep my hand.
All right, Ragavan. Fetch shock. 17. A Ragavan. What you thought about Pact of Negationing it?
It's a bold move, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off for him.
Man, this is a classic consider that I wish was a Thought Scour in my hand. So I'm going to kind of count how many times that happens.
Let's play Valakut Stone Fortune Pass.
All right. Draw. Bang on you. Knock on the door.
I'm at 18.
Desperate Ritual.
Want some more red mana?
Can I do something with that? I don't have Manamorphose in my deck, or else that might be cool. I'm gonna cast Seer Visions. Straw. Top 2. Keep 1. I'll play a Spire Bluff and say go.
You 5 in hand?
Yeah. They're all good.
Are they?
They're pretty good.
How good?
I don't know what to tell you, man. Just go for it. What could possibly go wrong?
I will go to 15.
Yep.
I will play a Manamorphose.
Resolves.
I will make red green.
Okay.
I will play Pyretic Ritual.
Resolves.
I will play Pyretic Ritual.
Yep.
I will play Goblin Charbelcher.
Yep. See, the problem is I have a counterspell right here and 2 card draw spells in my hand. So
I will pass the turn.
I do have 1 Spell Pierce in my deck. I guess maybe I should go consider bottom, actually, and try to draw the Spell Pierce. Okay, whiff. All right, I'll go and play another consider. Oh, cool. GG.
Did you find the Brazen Bar?
I did. All right, see. Ooh.
Want to belch me?
Kinda. Just start zapping you for a little.
And I'm at 13.
Yeah. I'll go Brazen Bar, bounce it.
Yep.
I'm gonna fetch and play a Murktide. Still
got a 7/7.
Yep.
That's convenient. Done after that?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I wish I could do both, but I can't. So I will just play this tapped, play Desperate Ritual, and play Belcher, and hope you don't have 2 bolts.
2 bolts? I need 2? What are you at?
I'm at 13, and you have 9.
That's unfortunate. Yeah, I'm just dead. Unless I get something cool off of your deck.
I guess if you have Bolt, you could hit Spikefield Hazard.
Okay.
Is Amiria's Call good enough?
No. Alright, I'll get a token. I have to draw Bolt off this Archmage's Charm. Rip.
And dead.
Man.
I just had a million rituals in my hand, so... And kept the Valakut so unfortunate. If you had a counter spell, then I was going to be able to set up just a redraw of several cards, try to rebuild.
Alright, well, O2 pre-board. We're going to take a moment here and sideboard. I'm going to get all these Unholy Heats and Lightning Bolts and such out of my deck.
Yeah.
And we're going to be adding in a lot more interaction. We're going to take a few minutes here. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here for sideboarding. And on my side of things, we're going to be we're going to get a little more defensive with Flusterstorm and Force of Negation. Unholy Heat has to come out. The Engineering Explosives can kill some treasure tokens, but other than that, it's not that great in the matchup. But these removal spells are stone dead, so we need anything and everything, and that's why, even though
Are they?
even though Mystical Dispute is not the best counterspell in this matchup, it's still 3-mana counterspell most of the time. And in a weird scenario where Ross has Force of Negation, we can maybe win a counterspell for 1 mana. So that's what we're hoping for, and hope it's good enough with my cheap pressure.
Yeah, and on my side of things, the Izzet deck doesn't have any sort of permanent-based disruptions, so we don't have to sideboard too much. Don't think Blood Moon is very good in the matchup. Fury would be enticing if you didn't have Murktide Regent that just survives it almost all the time. So just going to bring in the 3 Veils, and I'm going to bring out the package that makes Pyromancer Ascension an alternate win condition. There's no Pithing Needles or Leyline of Sanctity or anything to stop the Goblin Charbelcher kill, so we really don't need anything extra there. Still leaving in both Reforge of the Souls, because when you recross the paths in this matchup, you often need to leave both on top in case you get Ragavan.
Yep.
And Ragavan can come in with haste.
Or if you don't have a Force of Negation in hand, you can still cast Recross the Paths, and if they counter the first Reforge, you still have the second Reforge.
Yes. Yeah, you can set up you beat 1 counterspell that way. The other consideration here was to bring out the Ironcrag feats, because they're not particularly good with our own counterspells. Just set you up to not win any counter wars, but Veil you can play proactively in order to bait the counter spell, so as long as you have enough mana to play both, it's generally fine, and there's going to be games where I need to kill you immediately. I've been fortunate in the first 2 games where I had a turn that I could pass and then untap with the Belcher, but against Murktide, and now when you have all this additional cheap disruption instead of those dead removal spells, I'm going to get into tighter spots, and Ironcrag Feat is the card that helps you play Belcher and activate it immediately.
All right, any questions from chat, Rob, while we're getting ready here for game number 3?
Yeah, we had a couple. First is from Okara. They want to know, Todd, your thoughts on Spiraling Spike's Jeskai Murktide deck, which splashes Prismatic Ending. Do you think that's actually worth it?
So when I first saw that list, there was a couple of old school SCG grinders at the Invitational that were playing that list, and they all hated it and did not do that well with it. And it was people like Noah and Donegan and a couple others that like the old school young nutters, and like they just got wrecked. So I would say you don't really need it that much. I think Prismatic Ending is a great card, but that doesn't really solve the issue of what this deck faces. Unholy Heat kills most of the same creatures that Prismatic Ending does. Ending gives you a little bit of flexibility against weird permanents that cost like 2 mana, like artifacts, enchantments that you might not normally be able to interact with. But I think like Counterspell and Archmage's Charm cover those bases pretty well, and a sorcery speed card doing the same thing is not really where you want to be at. With that said, I do want some like Abrades in this deck. I want anything to be able to interact with artifacts. I'm just gonna host here by this Charbelcher, and I'm afraid.
Yeah, I would generally say in a deck like this with so many counter spells, you want as many instances as possible, and you're just trying to play the bare minimum number of sorceries to make Delirium consistent.
Right. Well, that said, I mean, Prismatic Ending is a great sorcery if you're just trying to get Delirium. Like, you know,
probably have some Wear Tears in the sideboard.
Yeah, Wear Tears tight. All right.
Next one we had was a question on. It looks like Lantern is on the rise. How do you feel about that deck in Modern right now?
Is Lantern on the rise? I haven't seen a lot of Lantern.
Just assume that it's on the rise and answer the question as such.
I mean, it's definitely a better deck now that it got Urza Saga, but that deck to me relied a surprising amount on the explosive potential of Mox Opal to make Ensnaring Bridge work. So that to me is awkward. You know, I think you can get into awkward scenarios against Ragavan too if they steal your, you know, Codex Shredders and things like that, and they start to get they start to be able to Lantern you.
Yeah.
So I'm not a big fan of the deck, but I am personally a fan of the deck. I just don't think it's particularly good.
I think the deck is quite strong when there's like very little artifact hate, but with Urza Saga being one of the premier cards and your equipment decks with Stoneforge Mystic are just like at the top of the field. Playing a deck based around artifacts that takes a long time to win the game usually gives your opponent a lot of extra draw steps to find like their Ancient Grudge or whatever sideboard, you know, Kolaghan's commands or Prismari commands, things like that.
Force of Vigors.
Yeah. Force of Vigor is a huge one. That card really puts you in the ground sometimes. The reliance on a Ensnaring Bridge from that deck, I think, is just a little too great.
Yeah, and just the level of interaction has improved so much since that deck's heyday.
Yeah.
You know, it's just not nearly as reliable as it used to be.
All right. Let's go ahead and play game number 3. We'll save any other questions for after that. I'll be on the play. Game number 3. And my hand is playable? Question mark. It's playable.
I agree. My hand is exactly playable.
All right. I'm going to look at your top card.
Is it good?
It's just a land. Go.
Oh, I will play a Valakut Stoneforge and pass.
That was a good draw. Your turn. Dragon Rage Channeler. The DRC. I'd much rather have Ragavan right now just because this is going to take some work to get online.
I'll play Songmad Ruins, and I will Spikefield Hazard the DRC.
I'm going to Flusterstorm it because I don't have much pressure, and I'll keep this on top.
Okay.
Stack.
Hopefully you forget less surveils than Ross usually does.
19.
Oh, wow. Called you out on that one. Here you go.
Look, it's fine. Ross has never played Modern before, so, you know.
Is this what happens when you become roommates? You just get saltier and saltier?
I'll take 3 for this turn Timber. Go to 16.
Okay.
I will play Manamorphose.
Okay.
I will make red. I will play Manamorphose.
Okay.
I will make red.
I wish I had Narset in play. First time that's ever been uttered.
I will Spikefield Hazard the DRC. Red floating.
In response, I'm going to fetch. So this is going to leave you red and a green up?
Yeah, I have a land untapped. I have a red in pool. So
All right.
19.
I think so. I can cast this Archmage's Charm to draw 2, but I get a Surveil off of the DRC. So if I hit Delirium, it'll effectively counter the hazard, and I won't kind of walk into this pretty obvious Veil of Summer because I'm not targeting any of Ross's stuff. I'm just choosing to draw 2 cards. With that said, I could just let DRC die, but I'm probably drawing 2 with Archmage's Charm EOT anyway, and I don't think he's going to go Ritual Belcher. I think that's just kind of not what's going to happen, so I'm just going to try for it. Draw 2. Surveil. I will put it in the graveyard, but it didn't hit Delirium, so it's going to die.
Okay. I will use the red floating, cast Pyretic Ritual.
Okay.
3 red.
Yeah, I mean, this deck's just like
4
way
red.
more messed up than I think, I guess. So.
5 red.
Am I dead?
Reforge the Soul.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, so we both just discard draw 7. It's just wheel. Okay.
I did have the Veil. But I've got plenty of other ways to beat counter spells. And
yeah. Cool.
So I have effectively reloaded. This is my turn 3, so I've played a land.
Yep.
And I will pass the turn.
Well, I was half right. Okay, so I'm going to go DRC, Bobble, Trigger, go Graveyard. We'll play Fire Islet and say go. I'm going to do this on your upkeep to look at whatever you just drew.
Oh, I drew a Recross the Paths.
Okay.
Which I will cast.
He's got a lot of mana. He's already gone through 1 Reforge of Soul, so I don't think it's actually that big of a deal. The thing, though, is that he will be able to just, like, put a bunch of lands on top or, like, 4 Charbelchers on top, so I'm just going to have to counter everything for the rest of the game. He's not going to force a negation because he can't just, like, kill me next turn, so a counterspell on this is just good. I could actually just play Mystical Dispute on this and get this piece of garbage out of my hand. Recross is good. I'm just going to let it happen.
Okay, then. Now I've got to do some thinking.
Yeah. I should have countered it just so he wouldn't have to do some thinking, because now I can't win a best of 5. We don't have enough time.
No, I think it's going to be pretty quick.
Okay. So basically what Raw's going to do, he's just going to set the top like 8 or 9 cards or whatever, and the rest is just random, really.
Yeah.
Because if it doesn't work, he's dead. And vice versa. It's funny, you don't have to shuffle because...
Yeah.
you know, it's like so weird. All right, set up however you want it.
I think, yeah, this is all that I want.
What do you have yourself at, 16? Okay. What do you got me at, 19?
I might have missed the fetch.
Yeah, I fetched like early, I think. Like turn 3.
Actually, we need to do a little bit more digging.
Okay.
I think that will do it.
Okay.
So... think, yeah, that sets me up pretty well for the next many turns.
Okay.
I'm also going to take 3 to 13 for a Shadow Skull and play Striker Rich.
You go to 13. Okay.
Pass the turn.
I'm going to bolt you.
10.
I'm going to shock to 17. I'm going to dash a Ragavan. I hit you for 5 and get a treasure.
I go to 5.
Wow. Played around it. Go. See if Ross can win.
I think I screwed this up. I will play a Desperate Ritual.
Sure.
3 red, I go to 1 red floating, play Manamorphose.
Thinking. The extra card on top of his deck like kind of matters. And all right, I'm just gonna go for a counterspell.
I will Pact of Negation the counterspell.
So because it's a 2 mana constriction, also I'm gonna force a negation, pitch a mystical dispute.
Okay, I have 1 red floating. Make red with the treasure. Play Ironcrag Feed and Belch you.
What was the last card?
Another recross pass.
So what am I supposed to just wait? Okay, you were gonna draw that, so it didn't matter.
But no, it did because I needed Ironcrag Feed for the mana, which is why I screwed up.
Okay.
But I set myself up to where if I lost that counter war, I had Reforge of Soul. But that's something I shouldn't do because I'm winning with Pact. So if I lose the counter war, I lose. I need to have a Veil there.
Yeah, trying to play around all that and Veil is just so hard. I'm trying to hit you with a spot where you can't find the extra thing. Like maybe you're even digging for the Ironcrag feat so that you can kill me that turn.
Yeah, there's a lot of spots where I think the Manamorphose is a key card, but it ended up being very punishing. But I did not set that up well. Because I needed extra mana.
You won, didn't you?
Yeah. Well, you played into how I set it up, but there was definitely a way. The awkward thing is that if you just let everything resolve, like your 2 counter spells are good because I took 3. I should have realized that was the issue. I shouldn't have taken 3 because then I should have just played around. Because I thought I was playing around Ragavan by having 2 Belchers on top, but by taking 3, I guess you needed Bolt Ragavan to punish me because that put me to 10 and made it a 2-turn clock.
Sure.
So I cost myself a mana on that turn, but I give myself an extra turn to set up. That's probably what I should have done and just played it a little bit slower. Sega is ridiculously hard to play.
Doesn't seem like it. Seems like you just have it all the time, and I'm dead no matter what I do.
There are a lot of easy games, but winning the hard games is very difficult. It's very hard to go from playing this deck at 90% to playing at 100%. That last 10% is what's hard.
All right, I'm keeping mine. We got plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm sure we do. It's been some quick games.
Yeah, still got 24-ish minutes for this one.
How is this hand?
It's funny, like Spikefield Hazard is actually just super annoying. It's funny.
Well, it needs a little bit of help, but it's good otherwise, so I'll keep.
All right, 19.
That's not good. That's not good.
Uh-oh.
I will play a Balagate Recovery, or Sanctuary.
All right. Knock on the door.
So you're at 19, I'm at 18. There's a Balagate Recovery. Want to cast it?
I could go fetch and cast it. Can I return any card?
Yeah. Get you a land.
If I do that, though, you're just going to go like ritual, go, whatever.
I got him scurred now.
Every game.
I will play a Turn Timber Tap, 10 pass.
All right, I don't think my life total matters in the slightest, so I'm just going to fetch, shock, and cast Consider.
So you're at 16. You are correct. Your life total basically doesn't matter. Maybe if you get to like 2,
yeah,
I could double spike field you.
Yeah. All right, 16, Consider.
Yeah.
I'm going to graveyard this. Sorcery speed stuff is not great, and I already have one in hand. Cast another Consider, go to 15.
Yep.
Want this land? Kind of. Okay. Bang on you.
16.
Yep. And I cannot play that as a land, correct?
That is correct. You can only cast spells off Ragavan.
Alright, so I get the treasure. Play this. I'm going to go ahead and fetch Island and say go. Yeah.
I will go to 13 for an Emeria.
Okay.
So I'm at 13, you're at 14.
So I got.
I will play a Manamorphose.
Okay.
I will make red.
Okay.
I would like to play Strike It Rich, red floating.
Sure.
Strike It Rich. Then I will pass the turn.
I'm going to go 13.
13 all.
I'm going to draw 2.
Sure.
Draw turn. 2.
11. Want another treasure?
Kinda. I'm gonna play an expressive iteration. I'm gonna put this in hand, or this on bottom. Play this.
Got $1 million in hand.
7.
It is equivalent to $1 million. Fetch into 12.
Yeah.
So you got 12 to 11.
I'm just gonna say go after that.
Make red with the treasure. Cast Pyretic Ritual.
Resolves.
I will play Goblin Charbelcher.
Attempt to counterspell it. Good 11.
I will play Veil of Summer.
I'll cast Consider.
Yep.
Oh, sorry, it goes to graveyard. Draw. Okay, you win.
Well, you could still have
Here's 11. I have triple bolt.
You have triple bolt?
No, I would have to have triple bolt.
Well, you have one Brazen Bar.
That's true.
I did not draw a ritual off his Veil, so I'm going to play this Seagate Reborn tapped and pass the turn.
Okay.
No red mana, no problem.
Hit you.
I go to 9. Oh, that's... Oh, but yeah, you have to...
I have lands in my deck.
you
It's
have
not
lands.
quite the same.
Yeah, not the same effect.
All right, I'm going to go DRC.
Yep.
DRC. Serum, trigger twice. Or, sorry, I should do them one at a time.
Yeah.
Graveyard. Draw off the Serum. Top 2. Bottom both.
Got another cantrip.
Nope, I'm dead.
Okay. Have attack negation anyway.
Yeah.
I could even pay for it.
Yeah,
if I lost the counter war.
Yeah.
I was very happy to draw that Seagate Reborn last turn. Yeah. I had a good hand there. It just needed red mana. I eventually just found the Manamorphose, and that unlocked everything.
So, I just want to point out something that's kind of scary, right?
What?
And traditionally speaking, Beltra decks that are like hardcore combo ritual-esque, are usually somewhat weak to Delver style strategies that just play like a cheap threat and a bunch of counter spells. And the fact that you easily 4-0'd me makes me want to throw up.
I mean, do you feel like the issue is this just isn't like aggro enough, right? Like, does Gruul like fold a little bit more to like the hammer style decks?
I would imagine just racing is better.
Yeah, they just don't have interaction. I actually picked hammer as my what we play this week because of that deck. So I think that hammer is pretty good against that deck. But.
Yeah. And, this build is also very well set up against counterspells with 4 Manic Packs and Veils in the sideboard. So, you could play more Force of Negations. That would certainly be helpful to win those counter wars. But it's not going to be foolproof. And I do think that, in general, we always want to rely on disruption to beat combo decks. But in this case, I think it's speed.
Well, you could have permanents like the, Pithy Needles, things like that. Like that.
Yeah.
It's
Thalia.
Those are a little bit worse though against the Reforge the Soul turns, like whenever you get to stack your whole deck, you can just put whatever you need to get out of the hate, right? Like that it's got to be a combo of like disruption and pressure, and this deck just does not have enough pressure.
We did have a question about like we've seen this Belcher deck pop up for a little bit now. Like it's been here, and like you said, it did well over the weekend. Do you feel like it's going to stick around for a while now, or do you think that we will actually start seeing meta shifts to try to think of it as a thing that people have to beat, and then it kind of fades out a little bit?
Well, I do think you'll see the metagame react to it, and the deck will get worse. But I also just think this is a good deck, and it's just the best combo deck in Modern.
Yeah, I agree with that.
So, and we've already seen that a deck with counter spells and Rogavan, that's not good enough.
Just got clowned.
Yeah, so there's going to be plenty of room for this deck to operate still, even once people start playing. I imagine all the Saga decks will start playing a main deck Pithing Needle.
Well, I will say one huge shift from this past weekend that happened is that all those like mid-range Solitude, Omnath, Locus of Creation decks have been popping up everywhere, and that deck has almost no disruption other than like removal.
Yeah.
And the fact that like those decks have kind of taken over all of the fair v fair matchups because you're just doing the most generically powerful stuff and the most consistent stuff. This combo deck just ate up the field, just crushed it. And even a somewhat prepared Izzet deck with a bunch of counter spells and a game plan that's traditionally good against combo decks I've gotten smattered. Just against the sidewalk, I've been squished. And I'm dead.
And what you have to realize when it comes to Modern, there isn't that much room to go ham hating out a single deck.
Yeah.
Because the deck is never going to be popular enough where you're getting really paid off for it like you do in Standard,
right, when
really powerful decks end up being 20-30% of the metagame. Here, Belcher is going to be, 5% of the metagame?
Way less.
I would say less. Yeah, I think 5 is about the max of where it would be. So
I would wager you play against it once if you win the tournament. It'll either be in the Swiss or in the top 10.
Yeah, maybe twice.
Yeah.
And yes, there are adjustments that could be made, but the real question is, are those adjustments that should be made by the people playing other decks?
Bingo.
And the answer is generally no. You should only make the small adjustments. So, like I said, Pithing Needles in main decks, more Force of Negations in blue decks.
Yep.
And, I think people are going to get better at figuring out how to play against it. That's actually the biggest thing. I think if Todd knew my hand in all of those games, I think there were avenues for him to beat me in a lot of them.
Mm-hmm.
But there's just so many things you have to play around that it's really difficult to know exactly what to do. And more experience in the matchup will help pilots, navigate those tricky situations more consistently and better. So those are the things that are going to happen, but I don't think this is going to be like a Dredge situation where people just put 3 more pieces of Graveyard Hate in their sideboard and Dredge is unplayable.
Pithing Needle on Goblin Charbelcher does not win the game.
Yeah. The second, while it's linear in that it's a combo deck, it's just trying to do its own thing, it has multiple avenues of attack. You can go for Belcher, or you can set up the Pyromancer Ascension loops. And those are two things that you stop in very different ways.
Mm-hmm.
Even with permanent base state, a card like Thalia, very good against the Ascension loops, completely stops them cold. It's pretty easy to just play a 5-mana Belcher against the Thalia, especially with Strike It Rich, where you just get treasures and turn those into ramp spells.
Yeah, you're not like a Storm deck. You're not playing Empty the Warren, so there's no need to do it all in one turn. Yeah. Also, if you're on the play, you have so many rituals that like we saw multiple times in the match so far, where like on turn 2 you just played a Goblin Charbelcher off 2 rituals, and like if you're on the play against a Thalia deck, they can't do anything about it. No one's playing Mindbreak Trap. No one has reason to, and no one should be.
Yeah, and things like Chalice the Void are not particularly good because most of your spells are pretty expensive.
Yep.
Blood
Moon's not good, which is
Blood Moon is actively aiding this deck by letting all its tap lands enter untapped.
Yeah.
So
in fact, the older versions of that deck all played like 3 or 4 Blood Moon in the main deck. So
yeah, there's still 2 in the sideboard here. So yeah, it's not really a deck that I think is easily hated out. It's a pretty robust combo deck. So I expect it to stick around even with a target on its back.
All right, one garbage time game. Let me get a shot at winning one.
This, I think, is a mulligan.
Dang.
I had both Reforged the Souls in my hand.
That's not good. All right, any questions from chat, Rob, while we're shuffling up here for the garbage time game?
Yeah, we had a question from someone named Scooter222 who wanted to know
Never heard of him.
The Belcher deck playing Simian Spirit Guide.
Poor monkey. Honestly, Simian Spirit Guide, I think, is on the cusp of being fine. And when they banned it, I was kind of taken aback, honestly. So it's obviously a pretty gross card, but it just always found a place in my heart,
Yeah. I do think some Abrades in your sideboard would really help this, because I've had a lot of games where I just resolve the Belcher and pass.
Yeah. Like you are playing into this deck as it has been traditionally built, and it doesn't traditionally play Abrade. But if you want to play the Izzet deck, you can make some changes to be much better in this matchup, right? Like more Force Negation seems fine. Like You know, I have Mystical Dispute in against you. You know, like that can change quite a bit. I'm gonna start with Ragavan. I don't like dashing it if I don't have to, even though I have this DRC. We can get some value off of it later. Don't kill me! Don't kill me! Don't kill me!
I'm gonna go to 17 and play Strike It Rich.
Okay. I don't know if that's worse or better from me.
Pass the turn.
Alright, fine. Alright, bang on a drum.
15.
15, I just started.
Took 3.
I know, I'm kidding. Alright, I'm going to get me a treasure. I'm going to play a fetch land and a DRC and take it.
I will play Valakut Stoneforge and pass the turn.
Alright, EOT, fetch, tapped, Steam Vents.
Brings you to 19.
17.
Oh, you shocked enter.
Yeah.
Sure. While you're tapped out, I'm going to Spikefield Hazard with Ragavan.
Fine. Alright, let's go fetch. Island, I'm at 16. I'm going to try for Serum Visions. See if I can find me something cool. Yeah, no, big whoop, right? This is where you really start to miss Thought Scour, and I do. So, top card. Expressive Iteration's pretty good, but I can't really afford it right now. So, alright. Graveyard, draw off Serum, top 2. Just put both on bottom, attack for 1.
14, 16.
Your goal.
Trying to think if this is going to be relevant at all. I'll take 3. Go to 11.
Mm-hmm.
I will play Desperate Ritual.
Spell Snare? Question mark?
Oof. Well, that was probably a mistake. Didn't know you had Spell Snare in your deck.
I just have 1. Some people play Spell Pierce. There's, I don't know.
You want Surreal?
Yeah. Bonk.
3 cards in hand.
Yep.
Force
of negation. Force of negation.
Well, packed.
Mystical Dispute.
All
right, it doesn't work.
Yeah, you have to counter the pact.
That's fine. All right, counter this. Unless you got another force negation. I'm tapped out-ish.
Yeah, you have 2 in hand.
Mm-hmm. I think I should keep the Flusterstorm on top.
Yeah, I'll pact again. Okay.
Yeah, you win.
You're up.
You win. Congrats. Just has double force negation, turn 3 Belcher every freaking game.
That was... This deck is something else.
It's kind of monstrous.
The last time I played it against Corey, I got browned.
Well, he was also probably playing Death Shadow like he always does, and that deck has discard, counter spells, 1 minute, 13,
no,
13.
he was playing Gruul.
Ah, okay. Gruul Smash. Right?
Yeah,
Gruul Smash.
I think it is. I think it really is pressure because this deck is not super fast.
You literally cast Goblin Charbelcher every game on turn 3.
Some games
or
it was
faster.
Later.
And then I was dead on the other turn. Whatever.
Yeah, but it's turn 3, and then I have to untap. So if you're racing me and I just cast the Belcher, like sometimes that extra turn is what Corey needed to finish the game.
All right, put some more stuff in your sideboard for this matchup. What's the Ceremonious Rejection? That's a nice one. That one's good against Tron. That one's good against some of those stupid artifact decks.
Rejection could be. I just think Braid would be big. because
Yeah,
the
Braid's
more
fine.
you can only add so many counter spells because you're trying to fight a counter war on a given turn
I agree.
where you generally have 3, maybe 4 mana. So having a third 2-mana counter spell in your hand doesn't really do a whole lot. That's why Force Negation seems really good. The cheaper you can get it, so Ceremonious Rejection seems good. But a Braid lets you let them win that counter war, and then you just untap a Braid their Belcher and win.
Sure. The one thing I do want to note is that since one of the more popular decks in the format is the 4-color Omnath Super Friends Value Town deck, I think Force Negation is great against them. And so just playing a couple of forces in the main deck seems like not that bad of an idea to me. If this combo deck's on the rise and that's one of the more powerful decks in the format, I mean, being able to tap out for some threats on turns 2 and 3, and then being able to Force Negation like a Teferi Time Raveler or what have you just seems pretty good. So
yeah, I definitely think Force Negation will see its stock rise.
It was great for me when I was playing the Rhinos deck, obviously, but I mean, this deck feels like it has too many resources most of the time and just not enough to do with it. So.
Yep. So Belcher looking really strong
5-0.
in match 1. We're going to take a quick break here. 5 minutes. We'll be back for match 2, where I'm going to be playing a little mono white hammer against Gruul, 2 decks we have mentioned.
Yeah, I quite like the Gruul deck. I don't know how it's going to fare in this matchup. I'm really hoping I don't get 0 games today. That's my worry.
The cool thing about this Gruul list is it features some cards from Innistrad Crimson Vows. We'll get to finally see some of the impact of Magic's latest set on Modern. So, like I said, 5-minute break here. We will be back to finish out today on Versus Live playing some Modern. Don't go anywhere. Hello and welcome back to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
I'm Todd Anderson.
And we've got Rob in the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. We are playing some Modern today. First time playing Modern since the release of Innistrad Crimson Vow. And we're finally going to get to see some cards from it. Not a huge impact from the set so far, but really liked seeing copies of Chandra Dressed to Kill, one of my favorite cards in the set, in the Gruul mid-range deck.
Yeah, so this Gruul deck, it thrives on early starts featuring Utopia Sprawl and Arbor Elf. It really likes ramping into powerful 3-drops, sometimes 4-drops. Chandra Dressed to Kill kind of somewhere in the middle there, but I love the fact that it can come down super fast, generate mana so you can start casting your 5-drops a little sooner, and then also just has the ability to just get cards off the top of your deck as the game goes. Yeah, starts with a lot of loyalty. The fact that you're putting up some blockers means that it's going to be hard to attack it to death. I'm expecting it to function a lot like Domri Rod, actually. So. Yeah,
that's the card I've been comparing the Chandra to. I think it makes perfect sense in this deck. You have that 1/3/5 curve, like you mentioned, but also a lot of 1-mana red removal. Yeah. Lightning Bolt, sometimes you see Unholy Heat in these decks, so you can cast Chandra turn 2, plus it, kill your opponent's Ragavan or DRC, make sure there's no pressure on it, and then ramp up to those really powerful endgame threats in the deck. So only 2 copies, you don't want a ton of them here. But a really good role player for a deck that I think is quite underrated right now. And you saw a fair bit of them in the challenges over the weekend, not up near the top of the standings, but there was a lot of them hovering in that top 32 area. So a deck that maybe people are starting to pick up a little bit. I definitely like main deck Blood Moon if everybody's on these 4-color mid-range piles, right?
Yeah, I agree. They get around it pretty easily, though. They fetch basics a bunch, and they play not Utopia Sprawl, Abundant Growth. Yeah. And that card allows them to play around Blood Moon somewhat decently. So it's not like a knockout blow, but if you're on the play and you play a Blood Moon on turn 2, it makes all their fetches horrible. Yes. So. And in this matchup, Blood Moon also going to be quite good. Normally, you would think an aggressive monocolor deck, Blood Moon is going to be horrible, but shutting down Inkmoth Nexus, Silent Clearing, and Urza Saga. Yep. Really, really strong here. So a nice role player to give you some disruption in a match where you would otherwise be working with just a little bit of removal and some chump blockers. Not going to be great, but Blood Moon is going to be an important piece against Mono White Hammer. And this is a newer version of the deck that I've seen pop up. Importantly, not playing Lurrus as a companion. It's also not playing Springleaf Drum, right?
No drums. There's more higher land count, 23 total lands.
Yeah.
But no Lurrus as a companion, just to be able to play a bigger toolbox of equipment. 4 copies of Steel Shaper's Gift, and a couple swords at the high end and a Nettle Cyst. There's one sword in the main and two more on the sideboard.
Nettle Cyst. This is the deck I chose for my what we'd played, like this version even, and for this week for Vegas, because I think that it's like pretty consistent, so it's going to be good and fast, so it's going to be good against the Belcher decks. B, this version allows you to turn Steel Shaper's Gift from just a combo piece to, 3-mana 5/5 or 6/6. Nettle Cyst, I think, just gives so many more dimensions to the deck, and whenever I played with the deck or against the deck, Lurrus never really felt like that threatening. The only times it was good was like after sideboard when you could rebuy Seal of Cleansing and various other Urza Saga matchups. But for the most part, it's just like this resiliency thing that allows you to fight through spot removal. But that deck's not bad against spot removal anyway.
Yeah, so it seemed apparently superfluous. Nettle Cyst also helps you fight through spot removal. All these really powerful equipment can turn your Memnites and Ornithopters and Esper Sentinels into real threats in the late game. So you're still getting that resilience to removal that Lurrus provides, but just doing it in a different way.
Yeah.
And hopefully one that makes the deck a little bit more consistent, because like you said, Steel Shaper's Gift now plays a dual role. And that kind of duality helps your consistency, because you can say, okay, I have a threat, now I'll turn this into a combo piece and get a hammer, or I really need a threat because they killed my first couple, I'll get a Nettle Cyst, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and there's even spots, like Steel Shaper's Gift is so powerful in the deck, and I mean, it's just more virtual copies of Stoneforge Mystic, but without the body attached, and like, I think that really shows you just how strong the body is and why Stoneforge Mystic is, so good, because you're not doing the Batterskull cheating into play, you're not doing the Cauldron cheating them into play, and so, like, Stoneforge Mystic and Steel Shaper's Gift are so close, but the body is just so huge for all those equipment, so.
Yeah, but now we got 8, which is nice. Going to be able to do some cool stuff. We'll get here to game 1. Todd will be on the play, and I will mulligan this hand. It was 4 lands, Stoneforge, Hammer, Plating.
It's not great.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions for us, Rob, while Ross is shuffling up?
Don't have any new ones, unfortunately.
Oh, that's fine. Well, chat, I'm here today instead of Corey, because Corey is on his way to Las Vegas for the tournament that this format is featuring, or we're featuring today in this format. You get what I'm saying. Modern is something I've been following pretty closely for the last few months. Ever since Modern Horizons 2 came out, it became like a huge emphasis for me for content creation, and I've really enjoyed playing it. I thought at the very beginning, I thought Urza Saga was going to be too good, and it turns out like just adding more evolutions to the format via Spreading Seas and Blood Moon, help keep it in check. And then on top of that, like it gives the artifact deck something to play with when Mox Opal's gone, And it's obviously a very, very strong card, but it's not nearly as dominant as I thought it would be, which is huge.
Okay, not a great hand here.
All right.
I'll put that one back.
All right. Utopia Sprawl on red.
Oh, that's better.
Uh-oh.
I will play Sigarda's Aid, Memnite, Ornithopter.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
Okay. I'm going to fetch
19. We're going to 17.
Yeah.
This deck is, for how green the mana base is, because of Blood Moon, you have so many basic forests. It's actually a very heavy red deck, which makes Chandra even better.
I'm going to pillage your plains.
Ugh.
That good? All right, and then I'm going to Fury your 2 creatures.
Ugh.
Your go. That's pretty good.
Okay, I will play an Inkmoth Nexus.
Okay.
And pass.
I will play a Chandra, Dress to Kill, and I haven't played a land yet this turn.
Well, you can't play lands off of it.
Oh, really?
It's only if the card is red do you get to play it.
I see. All right, so I'll just stick up and deal you 1.
19.
Make an R. Pass turn. Perhaps the pillage was unwise, but I thought it was kind of cool.
Okay, I will play Urza Saga and just animate Inkmoth and attack the Chandra.
Okay.
Pass the turn. Really hope I don't get Blood Mooned.
All right. Reveal the top card. Bone Crusher. I'm going to stomp you.
17.
Here you go.
wanted to stomp me instead of playing Bone Crusher. Okay, Chapter 2 on the Saga. Then I will play a Silent Clearing, and I will pass the turn.
All right, EOTL fetch.
Brings you to 18.
I fetch shocked on 2.
Oh, yeah. So you're at 16?
16.
So you got 16 to 17.
I don't think I want another forest, but maybe I do. Kind of want another stomping ground. Just get another stomping ground. Tap. Draw for turn. Let's go mana. Play this.
So I'm at 16.
I'll shock the 14 and say go.
Shocking. So you're holding up 3? What in the world is in your hand?
What are you at?
I'm going to 15 now for the Silent Clearing to make a construct in your end step.
Okay, and I'm at 14, right?
Yes.
How big is it?
It is a 1/1.
All right, I'll stomp it.
I will draw. I will... Huh. So, Todd has to have just another bolt of some kind, right? Which is rather annoying, because otherwise I would have him dead. So right now I can, with the trigger on the stack, animate Ink Moth, get a hammer equipped immediately with Sigarda's Aid.
Is that how that works?
Yeah, when an equipment enters the battlefield.
Whenever you cast. Oh, wait, no. So
No.
you may cast. All right.
I can cast them as though they have flash.
Okay.
And then, so that'll make the Nexus lose flying, but then I can activate it again, and it will regain flying from the second activation, and it'll be an 11/11 Infect Flyer. So now I just have to think, like, is Todd bluffing me? I think if he didn't have it, he would have just waited on the Bone Crusher Giant. So it's just, yeah, I guess I will take 1 to 14, make a construct.
Okay.
This chapter 3's.
Sure.
I just go for a hammer. I mean, if I'm playing around this whole thing, then I don't think I can go for a hammer. I think I just want to go for another creature.
All right.
Which means Ornithopter? Ugh. Like, is that even doing much? Yeah, that's fine. I'll get an Ornithopter.
Okay.
And then I will just pass the turn.
Draw.
Making mana?
Yeah.
So I'm going...
No.
I know.
Utopia Sprawl on this. I cast this. I guess I should probably just do this first, just in case. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not going to cast this yet. All right, I'm going to reveal top card. Bloodbraid Elf. Okay.
Yes, that's probably better.
It's a little bit better. It's fine. All right. Cascade. Okay. Season Pyromancer. Trigger on the stack. Bolt this. Draw 2. I'm gonna play a mountain. Attack with these 2.
I will go to 7.
Hope you don't have a land to kill me. Here you go.
How does the land kill you?
If you have a hammer in hand and activate a Nexus, and after no blocks, play a hammer on it. Or does it lose? It doesn't lose infect, it loses flying, right?
Yeah.
I just assumed you had a hammer in hand. I guess.
Give me 7.
Kind of. I have you at whatever you have you
Yeah.
at. Which I think is 7.
I did need a land.
I know.
I guess I can do that. Okay. I will go to 6. I will play an Esper Sentinel.
Sure.
And I will pass the turn.
Okay. Yeah, so he's got to do some blocking. A rule spell here would be nice. Oh, that was... How do you... A nuh-uh. That one was a nuh-uh.
Did you resolve the Pyromancer trigger?
Yeah, I discarded
played a land.
nothing. I played this in response.
Yeah, you drew
I
2,
drew
you played
2,
a land.
and then I played
Yeah.
a land. Okay. Attack.
Esper Sentinel will block Bone Crusher. Ornithopter will block Pyromancer.
Sure.
For damage, I will play Shadow Spear.
Okay.
I will attempt to equip to Ornithopter.
That's fine.
So I take 3, gain 1.
Okay, so you go to 4.
Yes.
All right. Let's go. Mana deal you damage.
3.
I'm gonna play a Bone Crusher Giant for 2. Then I'm gonna fetch a Forest and then play a Blood Moon.
So you're at 13.
Yeah, 13 to 3. Here we go. Hope you ain't got nothing.
Need to draw planes.
Well, couldn't you just attack me with like a 10 or 11 power lifelinking creature?
Well, both my ways to get hammer cost white mana, but I ripped the planes.
I can't believe you drew planes.
So I will play Stoneforge Mystic so I have another blocker, because I need to kill the Chandra first. You're going to ultimate it and deal me a bunch of damage. That will find a hammer.
This makes me want to throw up.
Then I will hammer the... Or I will...
His trample doesn't matter.
Attack Chandra.
No blocks.
No blocks. Play hammer. Equip. So Chandra dies. I gain 11.
Yep.
I go to 14.
Yep.
And then I will pass the turn.
I swear the Singleton Shadow Spear just kills me so often, man. Oh, that was a good draw. Alright, so these are only red. Let's go Season Firemaster, draw 2.
Yep.
What's life totals?
I am at 14. You're at 13. I will chump a Bone Crusher, take 9, puts me to 5.
Yeah, I'll pillage your Ornithopter. Oh, Sophie, you don't have enough mana. Oh, because of auto quits. That's a bummer. It's dead, right? You don't have anything else? Okay. GG. That was quite the draw.
No, I just need a land.
How do you just need a land? This doesn't do anything. Have
Yeah,
Blood
it's
Moon play.
Yeah, Blood Moon. Well, I did draw land, but so I can still Shaper's Gift for a Nettle Cyst, but I'm at 5. That doesn't keep me alive. Yeah, I'm dead.
Oh,
Man.
yeah. Nice privilege.
One good rip deserves another, I guess.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, you had like an 11 outer, and mine was a 3 outer.
It was a 10. I have there's 11 planes in the deck.
One was already dead.
Yeah, so it's a 10 outer. Damn. It's a good game.
Got him.
Thought I just barely squeaked that one by.
Dude, Mopey Gruul is like one of my favorite decks. It's so mopey, but it just wins a bunch somehow.
Yeah, you look at it on paper, you do not think this deck is going to be good. We're playing Modern.
Yeah, what are you doing? Glorybringer and Modern? Are you kidding?
It's just good.
Yeah.
You got a question over there, Rob, while we're shuffling for game... This is game 2? Yeah.
That was game 1, yeah.
I have a question about Pioneer.
Yeah, let's hear it. I'm in.
They want to know what would you tell someone to look at playing right now in Pioneer?
Is it Phoenix?
Yeah.
with 2 Temporal Trespass.
Oh yeah, the one with Galvanic Iteration, Temporal Trespass is a lol.
Yeah.
It's a roller skates. Is a 5-lane Utopia Sprawl good?
What's the 7th card?
Clothis. I don't think Clothis is that good in this
Corey
matchup.
would keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Corey would snap that
Well, then
off.
he would just draw, 6 spells in a row, but I draw 6 lands in a row, so. Must mull.
Okay, I actually am on the play.
Galvanic Iteration is cool. It's like when that first card first came out, I want to write an article about it, but I didn't think it was going to end up being that good. I have like a streak of writing about like, random isn't cards that don't end up doing much of anything.
Well, it feels like we've seen just like the copy spell effect, like a decent amount. It just almost never ends up being like a thing, right?
Yeah. Like I played, a bunch of the Wilderness Reclamation plus Expansion Explosion, and we got to use a bunch of copycat stuff in there. 4, 5, 6,
Have you seen anybody play Wilderness Reclamation with Hullbreaker Horror yet?
That makes me want to scream. That's terrifying. That's the scariest scary move I've ever heard of. All right.
Lead on Plains, Esper Sentinel. Wow. Best card in the deck.
Yeah. I'm gonna play. Yeah, I guess I'll play Ragavan. Sounds fun. 18.
Going to 18. That was not a good draw. I will play Urza Saga and Shadow Spear.
Okay.
And pass the turn.
All right. I'm gonna fetch a forest.
17. Block.
Utopia Sprawl for red. Go.
Definitely did not want to get Bloodbound or Pillaged there, so I will probably make the trade.
I'm not sure if that was the correct way to do it, but I know that Ragavan is not that good in this matchup in general.
I'm going to play an Inkmoth Nexus and pass the turn.
Shock, 15.
Yep.
And a Pillager Saga.
I will make a construct in response.
Sure. All right.
15 to 20.
I'm going to bolt this while you're tapped out.
Ah.
I don't want it to randomly get above a 3/3 because then I might just get beat.
2 cards in hand?
Yeah.
I'm playing Urza Saga.
Okay.
Activate Nexus and get in there.
Okay, 1 poison, 15 life.
Yep, you're up.
Draw. Alright. No Utopia Sprawl on red. Play Heath.
They're both on red.
Yeah. And I'm going to go ahead and 14 go forest in your go.
I like that. I like no threat.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Steel Shaper's Gift.
No, Inkmoth Nexus, go.
Red. Here you go.
Instead,
A little flooded here.
make a construct.
Sure.
Draw. Make a construct.
Sure. So this is like super awkward. So I just want to, I'm not trying to give away the goat or whatever. So Bone Crusher drawing here. If I ever have gone for Stomp when it was a 2/2, Ross had 1 mana to turn on an Inkmoth Nexus to make it not work. So not really sure how I'm supposed to play this.
Find a Colossus Hammer. I will then play a Plains and a Pure Steel Paladin.
Okay.
And I will equip Hammer to the construct that can attack.
All right, I'm going to stomp Piercestone response so you can't equip Shadow Sphere.
Yep. And I have 4 artifacts, so attack you for 14.
I'm at 0.
Yep. Yeah, I drew land every turn of the game except for the Esper Sentinel right on this last turn, so I ended up being kind of flooded, but you flooded even worse.
Yeah.
So.
All right. Well, y'all get your questions in for Rob while we set up here for game number 3. We're going to take some time here and do some sideboarding. I'm going to get in a bunch more shatter effects and some more removal, and Ross is going to get in probably some creatures to dodge my removal. We'll see. But get your question at Starcy Games in the chat with anything you want to know, and we'll try to answer it while we're shuffling for game number 3. We'll be right back. All right, we're back here for sideboarding. On my side of things, we're going to be trimming Ragavan. This is our weakest threat in the matchup, specifically because Ross's deck is full of Memnite and 1-mana 1/1, so the odds of it running through unfettered is basically 0. Even if I'm killing his creatures while attacking, the cards I'm getting off top of his deck aren't that good. And as you can see, like this deck is prone to flooding. The mana is not as potent here. Ragavan is really great against the control decks, but it's just like not that good against like affinity style decks. We're going to be cutting the Clothis as well. It can gain some life, but as we saw, Ross can play longer games and gain life with the Shadow Spear, and he can kill me via Infect with the Ingmald Nexus. So I think Clothis in general just not good against the faster creature-based decks, and it's an easy cut when you're playing against a lot of creatures. We're going to bring in 2 Ancient Grudge to help out against all the equipment, a Fracturing Gust to clear out everything, and then Anger of the Gods to sweep up the little creatures that he might play.
Yeah, it's a lot more interaction from the Gruul deck in the post-sideboard games.
Yeah.
Becoming a little bit less focused on its own game plan, keeping in your threats that impact the battlefield as much, and getting more interactive. On my side, very little changing here. Because this is a Gruul deck, I have to expect Ancient Grudge and other sort of artifact removal cards, so I don't think Cranial Plating is ever going to pump my creature to a very large number. So I'd rather bring in a more individually impactful equipment in its place, and that'll be sort of War and Peace. Most of your creatures are going to be red. I think Arbor Elf is the only one that is not red.
As far as I remember.
Yeah, so this can help me win races and just get me through blockers, similar to sort of Fire and Ice. I definitely considered bringing in the On Thin Ices in the sideboard, but I think they're too big of a liability against Pillage in order to have it in the deck. So I'm not going to bring them in here, though I would love to have a little bit of removal in this matchup if I could. It's just the choice of On Thin Ice is very awkward in this particular matchup.
I will say that most of my threats that you would be hitting with On Thin Ice are relatively weak on their own. This is not a version of the deck that plays like a 4-mana do nothing, and if you kill it, like it takes all the wind out of your opponent's sails. This is a deck where every single piece that's not mana acceleration has versatility, but it's also a little weaker as a result. Like if you're going to be usually targeting like Bone Crusher Giant with your On Thin Ice, and while that can prevent some of the bleeding or whatever, a single Pillage just like bringing it back is such a huge windfall for me as far as like keeping the pressure on, and I just don't think it's worth it.
Yeah. But something like Path to Exile I would definitely consider.
All right, Robbo, what you got for me?
So on this Hammer deck, what do y'all think about the versions that are floating around that splash black for things like Thoughtseize and a Dark Confidant?
I love Dark Confidant as a card in the deck, although I think the Smith's Apprentice, is that what it's called? The
Ingenious Smith.
Ingenious Smith. I love Ingenious Smith in the versions that play Springleaf Drum. I think in general Dark Confidant is a little too hard to keep alive, a little bit too much of a liability. And the fact that Ingenious Smith gives you that burst of cards that you need, and it's a body, and it grows over time, I think if you want to go that route, Ingenious Smith is better. The Thought Seizes, I think, are cool. I don't know how necessary they are. I feel like your mono-white aggro game plan is just good enough most of the time.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the Black Splash. I think you make your mana worse. You make yourself even more vulnerable to a card like Blood Moon.
Yep.
And I agree with Todd. I would prefer Ingenious Smith and the immediate impact that it provides and the ability to become a pretty sizable threat.
Yes.
As opposed to Dark Confidant that is so weak to Wrenn and 6, which is a popular card. And just it gives your opponent the ability to interact profitably with you. You know, any 1-mana removal spell killing a 2-mana threat that didn't generate any value is not really where I want to be in a deck that is trying to sidestep opposing interaction as much as possible.
Right. All right.
Another one we had was, do you think that Golgari Yawgmoth is a good enough deck to be played in Modern right now, or do you think its time is kind of past?
I think it's great. I think Prosperous Innkeeper added a lot to the deck, just allowing you to gain a lot of life very easily while providing you with that treasure token to ramp. I've seen that deck kind of burst in popularity over the last 3 weeks or so, and for good reason. It's a creature-based deck that has the ability to play normal Magic, but if you put the shield down for 1 second, Court of Calling, draw 17 cards, kill you sometimes, or just have completely flush with resources and sweep your opponent's entire side of the battlefield.
Yeah, I think that's one of those decks that gets held in check a little bit by the fact that it is so heavy on Magic Online.
Sure.
So I'm a fan of it. I think it's a solid deck, and it definitely a deck that pays you off for knowing all the tricks with it. So it's one of those decks that you can get an edge because your opponent's not acutely aware of all the things you're capable of doing.
All right, start up here for game number 3. I'll be on the play since I lost last game, and my hand is excellent.
My hand is not excellent.
Okay.
I have no white mana and no way to equip any equipment.
That's not good.
Sounds like good news for Todd. I don't know.
Yeah, I agree. All right. I'm shortcutting all my things so that Ross can take his turn immediately.
And I will make sure to slow down as much as possible.
That's fine. Look, I have to make up for the time lost. Okay, I understand that. That's why I'm doing it. But you can probably guess what it's going to be.
Well, I don't know. You might be fooling me. Maybe it's a Rogovan.
Maybe.
No, you boarded those out.
Yeah, I did.
Can't be that.
Maybe it's an
Maybe it's
Arbor Elf,
Arbor
but
Elf,
I just
yeah.
decided to put it underneath the other card.
Just to fooler me.
Yeah. Don't do this in turn, by the way.
I don't know what you're talking about, Todd. This is the peak of competitive Magic. All we do is play legal Magic here.
Someone in chat on Tuesday was complaining because whenever Corey would play the blue-black card that takes your opponent's top of their deck, he kept putting the card in his hand, and someone in chat was just like, please stop. And I was just like, calm down, bro. It's just,
Naming red?
Yeah.
Well, kind of look a little foolish now. I will play a Memnite, and I will cast Steel Shaper's Gift.
Sure.
And I'm going to find Nettle Cyst.
Okay.
I think this is going to be a game for Nettle Cyst.
All right. I will go get Forest. I'm going to tap. I'm not sure if I should have 1 land tap for 3 or have...
With Arbor Elf, it's better to have
land.
1 land tap for 3.
Yeah, but I don't have an Arbor Elf, and I'm going to have enough mana where it won't matter.
You have a lot of 3s in your deck, so I think having a 1 land tap for 3 is better than 2 and 2.
Yeah, I agree.
So you can...
All right, these are both on red.
Okay. We'll attack for 1.
17. 2 fetches.
Yep. I will play a Stoneforge Mystic.
Sure.
And get... Oh... Let's get Sword of Fire and Ice.
Okay. BB.
Perfect.
All right, here we go.
Don't want to attack?
No.
Inkmoth Nexus.
Excuse me?
Mountain. It's still named Inkmoth
I know,
Nexus.
I'm just playing.
Sigarda's Aid.
Yeah.
Steel Shaper's Gift. Find a hammer.
Yeah.
When I do the Sigarda's Aid, my game plan for this game kind of changed. I'm kind of mad at myself that I got the sword instead of just Shadow Spear, because now you have Arbor Elf.
Yeah.
But I will attack with my 2 creatures.
I will choose no blocks.
I will play Colossus Hammer before damage.
That's fine.
I will equip to the Stoneforge Mystic.
So 12. I'm at 5.
Actually, let's equip to the Mem Knight. I was thinking like that played around pillage, but you're just going to pillage the hammer. So yeah, so you go to 5. I'll pass the turn.
Draw.
Or, sorry, I'm going to play a Mem Knight too.
Sure.
Maybe I'm supposed to hold the Mem Knight in case you have like pillage plus pitch fury. But you would have fury last turn if you had it.
Bloodbraid. Pillage. I don't want to hit a land.
I mean,
I have a lot of stuff in hand. Relax.
Okay.
Relax, Ross. Plus, the killing this doesn't really matter because you can't re-equip without the other thing.
I mean,
Just gonna kill the Mem Knight.
what if I draw a Pure Stuff Paladin?
Well, then I'll do other things. All right, attack for 3.
And we'll go to 17.
Go.
So I have to assume Todd has some sort of interaction here. He has access to up to 4 mana with the Arbor Elf untapping the forest that's double enchanted. So could be Stomp, could be Bolt. So I think I just want to play Nettle Cyst.
Does that force you to equip something?
It's May.
It's May. Okay.
Yeah, so I can keep the germ around. So you're at 5. So unfortunately, the Nettle Cyst is not lethal. The sword is.
If it weren't for those pesky chop blockers.
Yeah, I think I'm just gonna force the interaction. I'll attack with Mem Knight. I will activate Stoneforge, put in sword, and attempt to equip the Mem Knight.
That's fine. I'm gonna untap this, and I'm gonna float a green. I'm gonna grudge this sword.
Oh, so I'm just dead. Yeah, I guess I didn't play around Ancient Grudge.
Okay.
Should have just done this first. Would have saved my Mem Knight, but I'm not sure it matters. You're up.
All right. I can grudge now with the green, but I think I just want to save it for the Nettle Cyst. If he plays a Pure Steel, then I can kill the hammer in response to the Pure Steel. If
I can't even. I only have 1 artifact, so sure. The Pure Steel's not even good at this point.
Okay. Draw.
Yeah, Pillage into Ancient Grudge definitely obliterated me this game. I was on a very equipment-heavy plan.
Just the Nettle Cyst. Shatter this for 2.
Ugh.
And I'll attack with these.
I got a 10.
Go.
Oh, that's a mountain. I'll get a germ.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
Okay, I'm going to do this sorcery speed one here. Let's just pillage the assists. Attack for 7, put you to 3, and I'll bolt you.
Don't have to fetch.
Oh, right. Bang.
Yeah, I was just drawing another Steel Shaper's Gift there, which was not going to do anything in the face of the Grudge. Ancient Grudge. It's a good magic card.
Ancient Grudge, ladies and gentlemen. Give him a round of applause.
Yeah. Got a little sloppy with the Mem Knight there, but it was not going to matter at all.
Well, if you just put it on the Mem Knight and attack with it, then I just shatter, then block. It's not like that much of a difference.
Oh, yeah. So there's really nothing I could
I was
do.
waiting because I knew that you were going to put it on something and attack, and I could snipe you or whatever it was on.
Yeah.
All right, so we're up a game. Do we have time to play 2 more? Hopefully. 17 minutes. All right, we got to go fast so we can get a best 5 in. That way you can't complain when I win the marbles. All right, any questions while we're shuffling, Robbo?
Yeah, just somebody was asking about your opinions on the new Chandra and whether you're impressed with it in this deck, and just in general, like in standard, if you think it's actually gonna make a big impact.
It's better than I originally thought, but I think it's going to be better in like Pioneer and Modern and maybe even Historic rather than Standard, because Standard is just so creature dense and
gonna bring back some chonky red.
Maybe. I was thinking about it. So. But yeah, I think the card's great, but I don't know like how good, you know. All right, I'm keeping mine.
This is not a great hand. I think this hand is just slow and too vulnerable to a lot of what you're doing.
All right.
What do you think about this hand? I'm mulliganing it.
You're on the play. I think this hand is stinky bad.
Yeah.
You know, I actually don't know if you should be playing that many 0-drops without Springleaf Drum. I think that half the reason why the 8/0's creatures were good is because their bodies and because they allowed you to ramp out with Drum. But I know that version plays like a Paradise Mantle, so
Yeah.
I don't know. All right, anything else while he's mulliganing?
Yeah, not right now.
Thank God. I was tired of talking to chat, to be honest. Always asking me questions. Jeez.
Okay. So this is game 4. All right,
Yeah.
you're up 2-1 right now.
Yep.
I'm going to 6.
Yeah.
Like an idiot.
Like a big old dum-dum.
Yeah.
Next time, just pull Corey B.
Um,
Mr. Bommy.
I'm gonna keep. I
Okay.
think I just put this one back.
Okay.
And I will start on Inkmoth Nexus, Hammer, Ornithopter.
What the hell?
Pass the turn.
What does that even mean? You know? Go.
Tilt. Plains, Stoneforge Mystic. I think I'm just getting Nettle Cyst, so I have something.
That's smart.
Pass the turn.
Let's take some damage. I'm going to go to 18. I'm just going to stomp. That way you can't put it into play for 0 mana. Or 2 mana.
Yep.
Right.
Here at 18.
Best turn.
It's an interesting one. Got another Nexus. And yeah, let's play Nettle Cyst to get a germ.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
So 3/3?
Yep.
Alright, I'll bolt it. That's the best part about Nemesis, though, is now it's just around.
Yeah.
You know? Alright, play this, and... So he's going to equip the Nettlecyst to the Ornithopter next turn, probably, or to an Inkmoth Nexus. I kind of want to start attacking, and I know that I'm going to bolt at least, but probably only one thing next turn. So let's go for a bolt. And attack for 1.
19.
Go.
That's scary. The fact that Todd is so cavalier with that bolt and he's holding up mana means he probably has a grudge.
Well, I can debunk that pretty easily because I bolted your Nettlecyst germ.
Yeah. It feels like you have some sort of... Maybe you just have a stomp. I can beat that, though. I will animate Inkmoth Nexus.
Sure.
I will play Silent Clearing, take 1, and play Pure Steel Paladin.
Right, in response, I'm going to bolt the Nexus.
So you're at 17. Yeah, had to do this to prevent Bolt on Paladin, but hopefully there's just not another...
Removal?
Yep. Because there's nothing I... Oh, I can just float a mana and activate the other Nexus.
Oh, crap.
And then make my Pure Steel big at least.
Yeah, I had to do it in response to Pure Steel, so he could have equipped the Colossus Hammer onto the Nexus, so oh well. Gross.
Yeah. Either way, I force your hand. So now I have a 14/14 Pure Steel Paladin.
Well, that was a great draw, so...
Was it Ancient Grudge?
You know?
You gotta be kidding me.
Well, you don't notice the Ancient Grudge, so I'm just gonna say, say go.
I will play Sword of War and Peace, taking 1. I'm at 18.
In response, I'm gonna grudge the hammer. So now you can't equip the sword.
Okay, draw a card.
Oh, I forgot I did that. I'm gonna. That's fine. Whatever.
I will play a Memnite.
All right. In response, I will kill the sword.
I will play Silent Clearing.
Yep. Attack me for.
And attack for 4.
Gonna animate hit for 5.
I think so.
All right. I'm at 13.
So I'm gonna take 1, go to 17, and you're gonna go to 12. I just
okay.
both. I
That's
did
fine.
17. Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna fetch down to 12.
Well, fetch to 11. Then.
Fetch to 11. Whatever. You're right.
Yeah, so we got 11 for Todd, 17 for me.
Should I just get force or should I get
I
stop?
don't want to move the Nettle Cyst over to the Memnite because that makes the Paladin stompable, or the last bolt.
Yeah. All right. Untap. Draw.
I have a million good draws. Probably want to put that on the basic.
Yeah, you're right. Go.
Okay, let's sack a Silent Clearing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Play Plains.
Sure.
You're at 11.
11 to 17, I think.
Yeah. Do I want to... So I could animate Ink Moth and get in for 4 Infect. If it was 5, I'd be much more inclined to do that and have a 2-turn clock, but I have Bricked. I can also get in with Pure Steel, but that potentially lets it die to a Stomp. If you just trade it for Stomp and Bloodbraid, I really don't want that to happen.
Or another disenchant effect of some kind.
Yeah, or Grudge, because you now have 2 mana access to 2 mana.
Yeah.
I could also move it over to Memnite and attack. If you had Grudge, if you drew the second Grudge, you would completely blow me out, but Memnite would only be attacking as a 4/4, which is awkward. You could double block and trade for it, and that gets me down to only 2 artifacts, so I have a harder time re-equipping later. I'm not going to get into with Ink Moth, so let's just start by sacking this other clearing.
Okay.
Well, that was a good draw. I will play a Memnite. I will move over... Well, I guess if I move it over, I'm vulnerable to Stomp too. Ugh. This is awkward. I guess I'm not that afraid of losing this to Stomp now because I just have so many artifacts and I can move the Cyst around for mana.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I'm just going to move it and attack for 4.
Okay.
No blocks?
Nope.
I'll make it 5.
Okay, I'm at 6.
So you go to 6, I'm at 17. Let's move this over post-combat.
Yep.
Pass.
Well, that stinks. Alright, Season Pyro, discard a Season Pyro. Make a 1/1. Let's fetch to 5. Let's get a basic force, I guess.
Makes sense.
I don't have to fetch, I guess, since I don't have a mountain. I was looking for a mountain, but I forgot there's not one. So
you're still
I'm
at
still
6.
at 6.
Take
2,
4.
4. I'll float a green and play another season.
Okay.
And now if I draw a
Grudge.
grudge, I can cast.
So you're going to have to... Can you? Do you have a 4 Stomping Ground?
Oh, maybe not. Okay, whatever. All right, on red.
Yep.
Here you go.
Now I think I have to kill in the air with this ink moth.
Yep.
Because you just have too many chump blockers on the ground. So let's animate, equip, play an Ornithopter, attack for 6 poison.
Yep.
And then move the cyst over to Paladin and pass.
Okay.
You have 2, 4, 6, 9 there. Yeah.
What are you at? 17?
Yeah. I'm very afraid of a Fury.
I'm going to check with these.
I will take 7, go to 10.
Okay, 10 to 6 and 6 poison. Going to pillage the Nettle Cyst and play Blood Moon.
Jesus.
Your turn.
That was not good. Okay, need to draw another piece of equipment.
I disagree. It was great.
That was the worst draw on the deck.
There's Saga?
Yep. It will immediately die, so I will pass the turn.
Oh, I forgot I had this Bone Crusher. Can I cast this off of this? Do you mind?
Didn't you?
This has been in play. And
Oh, yeah.
I went
Sure.
3/3. I just forgot
Yeah, I
that
didn't
this
attack
was
with it.
over there. So,
Yeah, that's fine. Pass the turn.
like, more dead to a sword that's already gone, but... Alright, drow. Smash with these again.
God, I can't trade for anything and still equip. And I'm not even sure if equipping anything is good. I think I need to runner.
Do I need to attack with these?
You want to leave back at some sort of blocker.
Do I need it to?
Yeah.
You just have Ornithopter.
Well, I can't hammer at instant speed
Oh,
with Paladin,
right.
so your blockers are good.
Okay.
I have to block something. I can't double block because then I don't have enough artifacts for the Paladin. So I'm just going to chump the Bone Crusher and go.
Does it change anything if you know I have the season in the grave? Like, I don't know.
Oh, yeah. Then I guess you
All
can.
right, you take...
Take 7, go to 3.
Yeah, whatever. All right, 3 to 6 and 6 poison.
Yep.
Your turn.
God, these draws were so bad.
Mopey Gruel. Get in there. Sure.
Can I live? Not if you make the...
Yeah, I'm just going to make 2 tokens. I think you're dead to
Yeah.
those. Oh, yeah. What's that? Just in time for the last match, too? Wow. Just perfect smushing.
Jesus
perfect time.
Christ. I just wanted a tutor. I had 7 left in my deck.
Well, all I know is Gruel's great. My buddy Braxton will be proud. I hope he's in chat. He loves this deck.
Yeah. Your interaction was good.
Yeah, Pillage looked awesome. And I knew that Pillage was going to be good in this format because Urza Saga, like, it was already fine, right? Like, the land destruction aspect was part of that Ponza scheme. Ooh, Ponza scheme. That's a pretty nice one. Where you were trying to blood move people and just keep them off of certain colors of mana. But the fact that there's so many artifacts running around is huge. And the fact that there are, like, 2 or 3 just clutch lands that are worth destroying means Pillage kind of starting to look like Vindicate a little in a green-red deck.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
No, it looked good. I felt like this version of the Hammer deck was just less resilient. I've got good top decks if I hit them.
Yeah.
And in that situation, I had some good ones and missed. But most of the time, the Hammer deck generates a lot of card advantage, surprisingly, with Ingenious Smith or Dark Confidant. And I was kind of missing that. Even Luris too, potentially.
Yeah, Bobble Luris is like...
Yeah.
That's something the deck could use to just generate a bunch of traction. And Springleaf Drum plus Luris gave you a lot of ways to use that extra mana while still having a burst of mana early. It's like it's a way to keep you from flooding out. Yeah.
So I don't know exactly what the major attraction to this version of the deck is.
It's just Steel Shaper's Gift and a Nettle Cyst. Like, having that extra piece of aggro as well as a combo, like, I get it. I don't know if it's better, but I like the look of it at least.
Yeah, no, and I think you could play Nettle Cyst in a regular list that didn't have 4 Steel Shaper's Gifts. You still have Stoneforge Mystic. It can find another threat.
Yeah.
If you really don't want Luris. But the card I really missed was Ingenious Smith.
Yeah.
That was the card that it gives you a lot of consistency and gives you an additional threat that would have been great. If I just have a 4/4 sitting there, I can really blunt your aggression and I get a lot more draws.
Yeah, that's true.
So
you have to play Bobble too, though. It's almost like a different deck.
Yeah, but then you trim on lands, and it makes it work.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I just kind of felt mopey, and I played a bunch of equipment, which is what the deck does. Because you have 8 tutors and 5 equipment, so you draw a lot of them, and then you just drew an Ancient Grudge, and the game is over.
Who knew? Who knew Ancient Grudge was a good card?
I think Ingenious Smith makes you a lot more resilient to Ancient Grudge.
Yeah, that's true.
And other artifact removals. So really missed that card, and just had a hard time playing through your interaction. And
there's plenty of it. I mean, the spy removal's good. Main deck, essentially, what are disenchants with Pillage was pretty clutch in a couple spots. Main deck Blood Moon's tough for you sometimes. There's so many things to like about this matchup from the Gruul side that I would have pegged me as winning the matchup before we started, just in general. So.
Yeah, and Blood Moon also very good. So. Good stuff here from the Gruul deck. I think this is a perennially underrated deck in Modern. Agreed. So if you want to play fair, definitely an option to look into. And then we are going to move on to our last match. So we're going to take another 5-minute break, get that last match set up, and it's going to be my turn to play with some Innistrad Crimson Vow, and that's going to be Cultivator Colossus and Amulet Titan.
I'm excited to see how that one works, because I personally don't think it's that good, but the first turn you cast it, it's just going to be like, oh, just draw 18 cards and put all the lands in my deck into play, and I'll be like, Ross was right about that card. Okay,
then I'll untap all of them with the Amulet and cast multiple Primeval Titans.
Yeah, and that's how it works. That's what's going to happen. So.
It's going to be nice. So
I forgot what I was playing. I'm losing the thread. So. I can just look. 4-color control. Oh, yeah, the Omnath mid-range.
The latest 4-color pile.
Yeah. So I'm going to be playing that and see how it works. I think it's going to be a pretty fun matchup, so don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Hello and welcome back to Versus Live. I'm Ross Merriam.
I'm Todd Anderson.
And we've got Rob on the booth. Say hi, Rob.
Hi, Rob.
Rob will be taking all of your questions, comments, concerns, and burns in the chat. Make sure to tag at Star City Games so he can see them and send his favorites over to us. There's our final match of the day here, exploring Modern leading into this tournament in Las Vegas this weekend, and also taking a look at what impact Innistrad Crimson Vow has had on the format. And closing, I get my first opportunity to play with a new cards, and that is a Singleton, Cultivator Colossus, and Amulet Titan. I think this is an excellent addition to the deck as a Summoner's Pack target, though I have also seen lists that are just playing 4.
Oh, I haven't seen any playing 4 yet. That's awesome. I hope it's good. Yeah. I hope it's good. It costs 1 more than Primeval Titan, but I can't imagine that you play a version that plays 4 Primeval Titan and 4 Cultivator Colossus. But what if it turns out the Cultivator Colossus is better than Primeval Titan because you just don't have to have the Amulet of Vigor to go off, and you just get to... just have the 7 mana almost win the game by itself.
Part of me would cry, Todd.
Yeah.
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 Well, if you do have the Amulet, then it's even better. You just put all these lands onto the battlefield, draw, probably have 2 more threats in your hand, untap all your lands, and go ham and probably just kill them.
So I cleared my throat. I didn't want you to think that I'm coming down with anything. I just wanted you to... There's something that you need to get.
Not yet. They're still mine.
Not yet. But you have to put them down. It's 1-1. This is
sure. Well, you better win.
This is the match for the marbles. We always put them on the table.
Sometimes.
I guess you and Corey don't.
But
I've been gone for too long.
Yeah, this list plays Karn the Great Creator on the main deck, and you could easily just play 4 Cultivator Colossus instead of those 3 Karns.
Yeah.
And honestly, it might be really, really good.
Yeah.
You're just gonna generally kill people if it resolves with the Amulet on the battlefield, and if it just resolves in general, you're gonna have a giant threat and a bajillion mana. And you might kill them even without Amulet if you have Dryad in play and find Valakut. You can kill them that way. Because all the ETB triggers aren't going to go on the stack until after the entire ability of Colossus is done resolving. So you're going to get all of them. Even if you find Valakut at the end of the process.
Okay. Any questions while we're shuffling up here for game number 1? I'm playing 4-color nonsense. This is the deck that has been gaining a lot of popularity thanks to one Mr. Yellow Hat, Gabriel Nassif. He started playing Counterspell in his Wrenn 6 deck, and then he added White for Omnath, and then he's like, oh, I can do all that, and then Solitude, and then it turns out your lands are just perfect.
That's just the latest iteration of Money Pile.
Yeah. This deck costs $2,000.
Yeah. The deck that no one can actually rent on Moto.
Yeah. My opening hand is like, I mean, I don't know if it's good in the matchup, but it's fine. Is your hand good? I'm just gonna get steamrolled, so I'm just kind of floating in the wind right now.
I'm gonna try it.
Here you go.
That wasn't a good draw. I'm gonna play Crumbling Vestige, make green.
Ugh.
Play Arboreal Grazer.
Ugh.
Put in Simic Growth Chamber, return Vestige.
All right, that's good. That's not good for me. All right, go. Oh wait, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and play Red and 6. I think. So. See, I have a white source in hand, so I guess I'll just get Breeding Pool. Bring it back. I'm at 17.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Surprised there's not a Darksteel Citadel to find with Karn here.
Probably should be. Be tight. I loved it in the Pioneer ones, Pioneer decks that play Karn.
Ross, how do you feel about the amulet lists that play Karn? Like it's been kind of a thing for a while that there have been versions that have played it, versions that haven't.
I am not a big fan of it, to be honest. Generally, lists play it now. I think it's good. Oh, it's certainly better now with the Hammer deck around, so it's a good tool against them. But in general, historically, I've not been a big fan. So I have two options here. I kind of want to go for the more aggressive line. And get a Dryad down.
Do it. Do it.
But that would...
Oh, here comes sleepy time.
just makes it really awkward for me to set up what I want to set up. This hand is just awkward. It's just kind of slow. But I think that's fine. I'm going to play Crumbling Vestige, make green. I think I just want to get more lands onto the battlefield. We're going to pact. Find... Ooh, I guess I could find Azusa, actually. That might be even better.
That'll do it.
Yeah, I'm going to find Azusa.
Okay.
Cast it.
Yep.
Then I'm going to play a Growth Chamber, return Vestige, play Vestige, make a green, play Expedition Map.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
So most of this mana the next turn is going to be tied up in Azusa, so I think... Oh, that was actually a good draw. So the Expedition Map is likely going to go get Cavernous Souls, which is really bad for me. So because of that, I think... I don't know what to do now. It's tough. Alright. I'm going to fetch to 14. Bring the Flow Shrine back to my hand, and 1 mana Prismatic Ending this.
Well, that was punishing.
I could get a basic Plains, actually. I'm going to do that. I got plenty of colored sources. So I'm going to be at 16, not 14.
Okay.
And your turn.
Okay, Paper Pact.
Yep.
Attack Wrenn. Play Sanctuary, return Vestige, and pass the turn.
Draw. Let's go fetch 15. Just get Rogren plus Sigo.
Float green, play Amulet of Vigor.
Sure.
Float green, play Karn.
So he hasn't played a land yet, so he can go triple bounce land, play Primeval Titan if it's in his hand. I don't know what's in his sideboard. I almost reached for your sideboard to look. I'm kind of curious what all could it be. I think for the most part, it's just going to be like a big creature. I don't know if he's going to.
There's not very many targets.
Okay, I'm just going to let it happen. I'm just not care.
So now, am I afraid of Bolt? Do you even play Bolt?
No, I play Ending and
Ending in Solitude and
yeah,
Ren. Yeah, I'm gonna minus and find liquid metal coating.
Okay.
Now play Crumbling Vestige, make a green, play coating.
Well, that's gonna start blowing up my lands, so I'm just gonna counterspell it.
Okay.
I could have counterspelled the Karn, but now that he's played a
Attack the
land,
Ren.
it's unlikely that he's gonna Titan me now. So.
Yes.
All right, draw. Ooh, that was a nice draw. Gonna fetch island and then return this to my hand. At 14, I'll say go.
You're at 14. You have a million cards in hand.
Mm-hmm.
I will play Amulet of Vigor.
Sure.
I will play Primeval Titan.
Okay. Can you just go get Talar West and a bounce land so I can concede?
I am going to get... I think I am getting Talaria West bounce land.
Yeah. If the first Titan resolve, that means that you can transmute and go get another one. That one's probably going to resolve, and I probably have Solitude. So.
No, that's going to be one short.
You haven't played a land yet.
Oh, yeah.
3 more land drops.
I have a bunch of land drops. Okay, yeah, those extra land drops will do it.
Yeah, I know.
So let's get there. Make 6. Return Growth Chamber. Then I will play Primeval Titan.
Okay, you win. I have a Solitude, it's just not close to enough. So.
Yeah.
Because you get to make more mana and do
I'm going to get a third Primeval Titan.
Okay, I know.
Yeah.
That's why I was... The second one with just the first Primeval Titan going to get Bounce Line Tara West was probably too much because you just chain them off.
Yeah. There's no pressure there from Todd's side. I had a pretty threat-dense hand. Was able to just power through the counterspell, even though it
was all card advantage nonsense. Just didn't matter. Like expressive iteration and... Whatever. This matchup does not seem very good.
It seems like we're getting to the point where the modern metagame is a little bit inbred for these fair matchups, and now is the time to just hammer them.
Yeah, I like hammer.
Yeah.
Any
meant that
questions?
in general.
Okay.
Belcher, Hammer, Titan, the 3 decks I've played today are all just powerful linear strategies.
Yeah.
Just trying to smash people.
Any questions from chat, Rob, or shuffling up for game 2?
Yeah, somebody noted on a turn you passed with 5 mana up and Ross played Titan. Why didn't you expressive looking for a counterspell? Holding up Solitude Hardcast seems inaccurate. Was there something else you were
so I didn't have another white card in hand to Solitude, and if he's playing the version that has like the give it haste or whatever, I'm maybe in some trouble. So expressive iteration looking for counterspell. I had Summoner's Pact covered because I had Force Negation, but I didn't really want to Force Negation the second Amulet. I was kind of hoping Ross would just go for the thing that gives it haste, and then I just Solitude, and then I'm okay. But I don't know. I haven't played against Amulet with this deck enough to give like a viable answer other than I felt like casting Solitude so I could pressure the Karn was like worthwhile.
Yeah, there's definitely value to keeping the Solitude on the battlefield there.
Yeah.
Okay, game 2. Ooh, a mulligan.
Well, 5-land Expressive Iteration Jace, the Mind Sculptor. Anyone? Any takers in chat? How's yours?
It is a keeper.
All right. 1 to 6, 4, 5, 6, 7. This one's keepable. I'll put back a fetch land. I'll play a fetch land and say go.
I will play a forest and a grazer and put in breeding pool.
Okay. I'm going to fetch up a Rogren.
Here, 19. Turn 1 fetch for Triome. Who would have thought it would become such a common play in Modern?
Go. This is the spot where I'm really not a fan of Counterspell in this deck because I have so many things that are sorcery speed. Planeswalkers, Expressive Iteration, Prismatic Ending. I have watched people play this deck on stream quite a bit, and I've played with it a few times myself, and every time I do, the Counterspell just feels super awkward.
Could play this turn very aggressively. I don't mind it.
Let's go.
I will play Summoner's Pact.
Okay.
I will find Azusa.
Okay.
I will play Cavern on Human.
This is turn 2?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gross.
That's my first land.
Right, so you got 2 more with
Play
Azusa.
Azusa.
Sure.
Second land, play Sanctuary. Return Cavern. Play Cavern on Giant. And then play Amulet.
Alright, I'll counter the Amulet. So he has to pay next turn. So I have like a, not a free turn, but I have a turn where I can actually play something without fear of dying. So I'll just get Breeding Pool.
So you're 16.
16, yep. And I couldn't counter the Azusa, obviously, because he caverned it. But now Cavern is on Giant, so I can't counter Primeval Titan, so we got to do some more stuff.
Countering the Amulet makes sense.
All right, let's go fetch, bounce this, and draw a card. Just going to get an island.
Okay, pay for Pact.
Yep.
So now you're at 15.
Yep.
I'll play Valakut.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
2. I mean, don't really know what I'm supposed to do because I can't counterspell anything, so I'll just play Jace and Brainstorm.
Sure.
2, 3. Let's put back a couple lands. Don't really matter which ones.
Okay, I will play a Primeval Titan.
Resolves.
And now, I have, I guess, somewhat of a decision. Kind of want to just get double Urza Saga.
Sounds kind of cool.
And just start pressuring Todd that way. Yeah. Two Urza Sagas. And then I will pass the turn.
Okay. Draw for turn. Take up Brainstorm. 1, 2, 3. Put back 2 lands. Play a fetch land. Alright, I'm just gonna hard cast this and you gain 6.
I'm at 26.
I'm gonna go to 12.
done after that?
Yeah. Gosh, I should probably get another green source. Whatever. All right.
Okay, Sagas did 2. I will play another Urza Saga.
Okay. This is going to be tough to get out of.
And I will play an Azusa.
Okay.
And,
Do you have like two Zeus or just the one?
I think there's 3, actually.
Wow.
There's no explorers in this list.
Okay.
So it's all creature ramp.
That's fine. All right. Draw for turn.
Yep.
What are you at?
I'm at 26. My mana base doesn't deal me any damage.
All right. So you got 2 Saga tokens coming across. I can attack with the Solitude. Gain some life, or I can just use it to play defense. I guess I'll brainstorm.
Yep.
Take up. Your turn.
Insta, make 2 constructs. Good.
Yep.
Go to my turn. And draw. Weird. So think I want to make another construct, but just one. Yeah, make one more construct. And then these will go off.
Okay. Both resolve.
I will get 2 amulets.
Yep.
Then I will cast a Primeval Titan that is uncounterable.
Yep. I don't think I can do anything because he's just going to chain off. Whatever. Go ahead. Play it out. This is going to be a 05 matchup, I'm almost positive. So.
Valeria West Growth Chamber. Make 6 mana. Return the Growth Chamber.
Oh, I guess I actually kind of messed up.
What? How?
Because I can ending one of the amulets with a trigger on the stack. Whatever. It's fine.
You want to do that?
No, doesn't matter.
I mean, if that's what you would do it.
It's like with the Primeval Titan on the stack, so you can only float
Yeah.
3.
Still gonna get the same thing. Float the 3, return here.
Yep.
Go to 2 floating, make it blue-green.
Force negation, pitch, expressive iteration.
Okay.
It's got 2 counters on it.
Yep. So now I have 2 mana floating. I have not made a land drop. Which is actually really awkward. Because I can only generate 6 off this. That gets me to 8. And that is not enough to Teleria West and Primeval Titan. So I guess I will go to 4 mana, 6 mana using 2 land drops, and play a Karn with 2 floating and 1 land drop left.
Okay.
That will get a Liquimetal Coating, and I'll play it with the 2 mana floating.
So you have no more land drops, right?
I have 1 more land drop.
There's no way you have 1 more land drop. You had 0 floating. Oh, I guess
Yeah.
you had some off the...
I hadn't played a land, I had 2 mana
Okay,
floating.
you're right,
Yeah.
Okay.
I went up to 6.
Okay.
I'm not attacking with Titan this turn.
I know.
But I will send both constructs at Jace.
Okay. I'll eat 1. I need to keep my Jace around. I'll chump the other. You gain.
So I gain 5.
3, 4, 5. You go to 31.
31.
I'll
Gain 3 to 15.
Yep.
It's going to keep both Matthias's around. And then on your upkeep, I'm going to look metal putting the Jace.
GGB. I think I know the top 2 cards anyway. Bounce this. And I quit. GG.
Whew.
It's a weird game. I could have, I don't know. I don't think anything I was going to do there really mattered. The Cavern of Souls, finding it that early just means I can't really interact in my main form of interaction. That deck just preys on people who are slow and have bad interaction.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like you've really had the tools to contain what Amulet is doing, just its normal game plan. You know, I haven't needed Cultivator Colossus at all. Yeah. But we will see if there are better tools in Todd's sideboard. We're going to take a short break here, get the sideboard set up, and then finish out this last match on Versus Live. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back to Versus Live, where we are sideboarding in our matchup between Amulet Titan and 4-color Control. Not much to change on my side. Really, the only card I actively want is the 4th Karn. Really just want to be as threat dense as possible in the Control matchup. I'm going to trim 1 Arboreal Grazer to make room for it. This is not a card you want to draw heavily in multiples. It's a 4 of in the main deck now in Titan because of the presence of Ragavan in the format.
Yeah.
It's just a great way to check Ragavan while still contributing to your own game plan. I am making a small swap in the mana base, though, taking out the Radiant Fountain, which just doesn't have relevant text. Ghost Quarter doesn't really have relevant text either, but I think it's slightly more likely to be useful than the 2 life off of Radiant Fountain. So I'm making the swap, but keeping the land count the same, the deck relatively the same. You don't do a lot of sideboarding, especially in the Karn builds of this deck, because you have a smaller sideboard, and you know I've got a bunch of Disenchant effects, Graveyard Hate, Creature Removal, none of which is particularly relevant in this matchup.
Yep. From my side, Spreading Seas good against Urza Saga. It's not really that good against the rest of his deck because he has Bounce Lance to pick the lands back up. This is a matchup where you would much rather have like a Blood Moon or some harder hitting sideboard card. But Spreading Seas is fine. It's great against Sagas. Ether Gust is excellent against Primeval Titan. Gets around Cavern of Souls, which is huge. Force of Vigor pops a lot of the artifacts and enchantments, including Urza Saga. We're going to be cutting some of our slow, grindy card advantage engine thingies. The Teferi Time Ravelers, you know, Ross doesn't really operate at instant speed too often, and bouncing like any of his creatures doesn't really accomplish much. The only upside to Time Raveler is its ability to bounce Urza Saga proper, but the fact that it costs 3 and I don't have mana acceleration, and those are usually the turns where I need to start holding up Counterspell. All these lead me to want to cut it. And similarly, Ren 6, this isn't a matchup about card advantage. I'm going to keep a couple in to help out for hitting land drops, but you know.
Yeah, you really only need the 1.
Yeah, I drew 2 in multiple games and just never did anything. I mean, it did things, but wasn't that relevant. All right, any questions from Chit Chats while we're...
No, but apparently Valakut doesn't work the way we wanted to with Cultivator Colossus. That's what I'm told.
No, I mean, the triggers aren't... I guess it still sees it. It's a weird interaction. So I mean, all the lands that come in after Valakut will still trigger. But I guess Valakut never saw those enter the battlefield, even though the triggers would go on the stack at the same time.
I don't know. All I know is they make a bunch of mythic rares that do funky stuff. And then I just wait for somebody smarter than me to tell me what it does. If they say it works kinda, then I guess it works kinda.
I guess you can just, yell at Elliot tonight.
Basic Plains A. This is pretty cool, right? This is the Jim D hand of the week. I almost wore my Jim Davis jersey today. So it looks like you have a tanker over there, bro.
Can you poke Ross, make sure he's still alive?
Yeah.
No, this just doesn't have enough interaction. I was trying to figure out weird lines that I could potentially play, but they just not really there.
All right.
Looks like a Triome.
Could be. Could be nothing.
Could be a tap shock land.
Could be anything. It Could even be a boat.
Could just be a Solitude that Todd has put face down for no reason.
Yeah. Just like Fetch Shock Thoughtseize. There's no Thoughtseize in any of the decks today.
Nope.
First time in a while.
There's not a ton of Thoughtseize around in Modern right now.
No. Just basically the two Bash Bros decks, you know. Jund and Shadow. Okay, buddy. Let's just go to 5. Let's keep it moving. Keep it moving. This is an entertainment program.
Yeah, I gotta think a little bit.
Well, when you make that face, I don't think there's much thinking left to be done.
Yeah. I had a hand with a bunch of Karns and 4 mana and a Grazer. The problem was the only green source was a bounce land, so I wasn't going to be able to graze until turn 3. If I could have grazed on turns 1 or 2 and start Karning on 3, then I think that hand is a keeper.
Yeah.
But so one of the lands is Urza Saga, so I'd have that going too.
Oh, I figured out why Ross still wears a mask, and it's because he gets to yawn behind it and not look bad like me, like when I just yawned. Don't worry about it. Look, my monster's wearing off. Okay, so we call it the 3-hour energy.
And you have to play against Ross. So.
It's okay, Todd.
Yeah.
We're almost done.
Yeah. There it is. Go. 4, 4, 4, 4. 5 cards good? Or?
Oh yeah, it's 5, isn't it?
You can always mull to 4. No one will stop you. Except Corey. He'll burst through the door. No, Ross!
This is definitely a keep. I just need to draw pretty well. And that kind of counts. I will start on a Grazer, put in Gruul Turf, return Forest.
Wow. Can't believe it. Okay, go.
Interesting. I will play Amulet, green floating.
I feel like if I don't stop this, he's just gonna go bounce land, Azusa. I guess he can't play Titan. Okay, that's fine.
Okay, Amulet.
Okay.
Make 4 mana, Karn.
Alright, I'll force pitch iteration.
Fast turn.
Draw. Put this in my hand. Say go on your upkeep. I'm gonna force these 2. Bango, bongo, boongo, bro, go.
Well, that's not good.
Yeah.
Forest go.
All right. Well, I'm out of juice. Turn. Took out all my planeswalkers, so I don't have any in game.
Sun Home Karn.
Wow. Okay.
I
I just hate that card exists. You know.
think I'm just gonna minus for a threat here, in case you untap and kill it somehow.
With my lightning bolts.
You could have Big Teferi.
That's true.
And I guess if you do have Big Teferi, then I'm gonna want Walking Ballista. So let's get Ballista instead of the Wormcoil.
Okay. Here we go.
Now I will minus and get the coding and play it.
Sure.
Then I will play Growth Chamber, return, I guess I'll return Sun Home.
Okay.
And pass on your upkeep. Can I cut you off of any color?
Nope.
Does not appear to. So I'll hit the Rogran Trial, I guess.
All right. It don't work. Come on, something good. Go. Running 7 would have been pretty good. Now I'm just going to get my lands blown up a bunch.
Yep. Plus on the Triome, coding it.
Fun.
Play Sun Home. I guess I'll just play a 3/3 Ballista.
I'll counterspell it.
Okay.
It's pretty big. I'll fetch, take 1, go get Ketria.
19.
Yep.
And I'll pass the turn.
All right. What do I need here to not be in a massive amount of trouble? Probably has to be a planeswalker of some kind. Okay, not great. Here we go.
Coding the Triome.
Float mana.
Plus on it.
Cast Solitude.
Exiling the Grazer.
Yep.
Then the Triumph dies.
Yep.
I will play a Ghost Quarter and Dryad of the Elysian Grove.
Sure.
Pass the turn.
Well, we may have done it, folks. Put that on top or wherever you want. Probably on bottom, if I had to guess. Then I'll kill Karn. I go to 20 something, or I don't know. What'd you have me at, Rob?
I'll put it on
Alright.
top.
22.
You're 22.
Okay, here we go.
Would you be mad if I told you my last card is another Karn?
A little because I don't have another blue counter spell. You blew up on my lands like a jerk face.
Karn, plus on the Hallow Fountain, kill it, play the Dryad,
Okay,
pass the turn.
cool.
Just gonna keep blowing up all of his lands and eventually find a Wormcoil.
Shuffle up, bro. Still got 10, 15 minutes left. 17 minutes left. We can play at least one more game.
I just want to play Cultivator Colossus.
Well, I'm trying to let you, but you're taking too long. You're not taking that long. You're actually playing pretty fast today. But the times when you're not, I gotta poke you a little. keep you going.
I don't want to poke the bear too much, Todd.
Is that how you get the horns?
No, that's
Poke
from
the
poking
bear,
the bull.
you get the, oh, that's where that comes from.
There's a lot of things you're not supposed to poke.
That's true.
That's our lesson today on Versus Live, kids.
Don't poke.
There's a lot of things you don't want to poke.
Yeah. Man, this is the second time I've drawn Ren and Plains and can't cast Ren onto because of it, and it's just killing me. My hand is so good if that's a green or red source to go in my fetch lane. So keep that in mind if you play this deck. The Plains is you're a counterspell deck, and you have a Plains. You have a Ren and
Counterspell, Ren and 7 basic planes.
and Plains. Some versions play the Abundant Harvest or Abundant whatever.
Those are Yorian versions, right?
Yeah. Which I quite like the Yorin versions personally. So. All right, put this back. I'm on 6. You good to go?
Yeah.
All right, you're up.
Grazer put in Growth Chamber.
All right. Ren, get back a land. I'm gonna get guess green blue. Don't need white yet.
So you're at 17.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting.
Raggy. Speaking of Raggy, do you see the new Warner Brothers Smash Brothers game coming out? It's called Multiverses, and you get to play a Super Saiyan Shaggy. I'm into it.
Play a land. Play Azusa.
Okay.
Second land drop. Third land drop. Play Arboreal Grazer. Put in Teleria West.
Okay.
Pass the turn.
You okay there, Chief? Mister? Doing all right?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. This is
Okay.
turn 2.
I know it's turn
I have
2.
so many permanents.
I know.
Azusa's got some beast friends in the trees.
See, the problem is I don't really know what to do here, so I think I'm just gonna get like I'll get Rock Run, excuse me, and then I'll plus and pass back to you.
You're at 16.
Yeah.
Okay. Draw. Chapter 2 on the saga. Attack Ren for 1. Make green, blue, blue. Play Selesnya Sanctuary. Return Teleria West.
Okay.
Transmute.
Okay.
Get a Summoner's Pact.
Sure.
And I will pass the turn.
All right. Let's bring it back.
You're at 15.
Okay, here you go.
Okay, on your end step, make a construct.
Yep.
Go to my turn. Draw. Well.
What's so funny?
I'll explain later.
Okay.
I will
Go score me.
float one with the trigger from Saga on the stack.
What are you doing?
I'm
Okay.
triggering Urza Saga. Doing my thing.
Oh, sorry, you didn't put a third counter on it. I was confused.
Yeah. I will get an Amulet of Vigor.
Okay.
I will cast Summoner's Pact.
So, I guess that's fine. Whatever.
Okay. I will find Primeval Titan.
Cavern Souls, name Giant, GG. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I quit. It's just so dumb. Because I can just counterspell it, but it's such a huge tempo black hole for him, and if he just has another Primeval Titan next turn, he could just cast that instead. Like, my hand's just all these stupid prismatic endings, and just my hand's just mono trash. It just doesn't matter. I shouldn't
I
even
laugh because I
concede.
drew this. And it just doesn't do anything because I have no other lands in my hand.
Yeah.
I finally drew the Cultivator Colossus, and it was not good.
Okay, well, we learned something today, and it was just play 4 Primeval Titans and don't play Cultivator Colossus, because even when you draw, it doesn't do anything.
Yeah, Primeval Titan's still great.
I don't want to play this matchup anymore. I'll play a different matchup. I got 04.
No, we're right about there at the end of our time. Why don't we take a couple questions if we have them?
Let's just talk. I mean, we can talk about the
have
deck
any
too.
right now. So
Okay.
might be some coming in a minute or two.
Sure. Well, let's talk about some things that have a little wrap up here. Things that we learned. Well, it looked pretty good for the the unfair side of things. We didn't intentionally set it up that way, but I ended up being sort of 3 linear decks against 3 non-linear decks, more reactive decks.
I mean, we absolutely set it up that way. We just didn't set it up so that it would be specifically deck. We didn't choose the matchups because we thought the matchups would be one-sided. We chose the matchups because we wanted interaction versus non-interaction, because we don't like playing goldfish matchups.
Sure. But regardless, the metagame right now for Modern has been very interactive, very fair.
I agree.
And I think right now is a good time to be figuring out unfair strategies that people are playing or that people aren't prepared for.
Yeah, I mean, we could have gone like the 4 Blood Moon deck against the Urza Saga Primeval Titan deck, and that would have been a nightmare. But the green-red deck doesn't see a lot of play, but this 4-color Omnath deck is everywhere. So it's more important that you get that litmus test against the more popular decks in the format, because you're going to play against those at a significantly higher clip.
Yeah, and it's pretty popular. It was the 2 most popular decks, I would say, of the 6 that we played today are the 2 that got destroyed.
Yeah.
So clearly, as much as we can't draw, very confident.
Actually, didn't
all
three top tier decks got obliterated?
Hammer's also pretty well played.
Hammer's one of the top 3 decks in the format, and it got crushed.
And you can say that it might be the specific matchups that we played, but maybe the Izzet deck's a little bit better against the Primeval Titan deck, or a little bit better against Hammer, and just worse against the Belcher deck. But this deck also has Cavern to get through all their counter spells, has Arboreal Grazer to sit there and block Ragavan all day, and I was drawing those cards. Then I think about the 4-color deck. It's going to be even worse against Belcher, right? You have very little interaction. Teferi is an interesting one. It forces me to go off all in one turn,
and it makes your force negations unplayable.
Yeah. So Teferi is probably an important tool there.
If we
Also Force
have
of Vigor.
flip flop match 1 and match 3, as far as like either deck swaps out for the fair or unfair deck,
Yeah.
I think the matchup would have been closer, but it would not have been good. I think that Izzet's going to struggle against Primeval Titan the same way that I used to always struggle. Like, you know, they just have too many threats. They're too fast and too consistent, and it's almost impossible to get pressure down and protection and have enough protection.
Yeah. And then the Gruul deck, that was the deck to me that seemed most impressive. And if I think about it, it's going to be good in the Titan matchup.
Mm-hmm.
You know, there's a main deck Blood Moon deck with pillages and stuff.
I've always liked that Mopey green red deck.
Yeah,
man. That's good.
And I think you'd be okay even in the Belcher matchup. You know, you've got your Ancient Grudges, so it's hard for me post board to go for a quick Char Belcher unless I have the Iron Crag feat. Obviously, I'm going to sideboard differently. I'm going to have some Furies in my sideboard to hold off your creatures. Don't need any of the pacts, things like that. You know,
Pillage is quite strong because it can just knock you off of a land, and a lot of your lands enter the battlefield tapped. But also just
also
like
kill a Belcher. So yeah, even game 1 Belcher is not safe.
Yeah, it used to be Belcher whenever the Char Belcher decks first came out back in when Mirrodin was first released. The combo of put a Belcher onto the battlefield and then activate it to kill your opponent almost always happened in one turn. And they use things like Gilded Lotus and Twiddle to just generate a bunch of mana, or they would play Mind's Desire, like and that stuff. But like there was all sorts of like ritual Charbelcher Tinker decks, and they all could kill you almost immediately.
Yeah. They used Mana Severance to take the lands out of their deck.
Right. And now all our lands are just spells.
Yeah. So
free Mana Severance.
You know, the Gruul deck is the one that really I think was the most impressive. It's got good pressure.
Belcher was more impressive to me. That Belcher deck is gross.
But I knew the Belcher deck was good. You know, Belcher just came off a great weekend.
Sure.
You know, the Gruul deck is really, you know, if you're thinking about a deck that looks good but is also very under the radar going into this week, I think Gruul is up there for me.
Sure.
So that's definitely a deck I would consider if you're playing in Las Vegas this weekend or playing wherever. You know,
and that Blood Moon, get to it.
You know, but I think Blood Moon is in a good spot right now. There's not a lot of Blood Moons around because all the Blood Moon decks are often Lurrus decks. It's like the Rakdos Jund kind of thing, and they're Jund's playing Saga too, so they don't want Blood Moon, so they're playing Alpine Moon instead to be more targeted and cheaper. That one's not nearly as good. So. You know, in the 4-color matchups against Amulet, Alpine Moon not nearly as good. So, the Gruul deck, at least relative to my expectations coming into the day, was certainly looked really, really good. And I think the Belcher deck is also very good. So we're going to start seeing more proactive, you know, aggressive combo kind of decks. You know, really taking advantage of this mopey mid-rangey metagame.
Yeah, I mean, Omnath, Locus of Creation really struggles at interacting with things that aren't creatures, because you have the life gain that kind of invalidates those like burn spells and stuff from burn, and like you're just like tapping out on your own turn a bunch, and if you're just tapping out on your own turn a bunch to play a Planeswalker or whatever, you're just going to get clapped by a Charbelcher or a Primeval Titan or just really anything that's linear and non-creature related.
Yeah, and all these like Rhino decks just think their 4 Force Negations are going to save them against everything, and it's just not true.
Yeah,
I don't know. It seems to me like everybody's just preparing to beat Ragavan DRC decks and fair decks, and everybody sort of forgot that in Modern you can do some really busted stuff.
Well, they banned up all the combo. They banned so many combo pieces in the last couple years
and they've also printed so much more flexible interaction. Prismatic Ending, Unholy Heat, Solitude,
and all the pitch cards are just gross.
Yeah, so it's a lot. It's made the metagame a lot fairer, which is generally a good thing. But it's there's still unfair decks that can compete, and we saw a lot of them today.
Yeah,
and hopefully we see them next weekend, because I think as much as people often complain about linear decks, I like when they exist. Just to keep people honest. I don't really like the giant mid-range arms fest kind of metagames, and that's what Modern has kind of been. So I like that these decks are coming in to check everyone and say, hey, you can't just ignore the fast combo decks. Okay, Rob, any questions come in while we were talking there? No. Okay, then let's thank some subs, and we'll thank some sponsors, and we'll head out of here.
Where's Esteas?
I don't know where Esteas is. Sorry, they must be working.
Yeah.
But no subs today, unfortunately. But thank you to all everyone who is subbed to us.
Yeah, thanks for hanging.
Yes, thank you for supporting Star City Games, and if you'd like to support them in another way, you can join SCG Premium. $7.99 a month will get you access to exclusive content from our wonderful staff, as well as 5% off of sealed product, 10% off of singles, and 15% off of supplies. Head on over to starcitygames.com/join-premium and sign up today.
I don't know. I don't remember them. I haven't done this in a month and a half or whatever.
Don't worry, I got
Crimson Vow.
Yes, next up is Crimson Vow cards. Release is Friday, but you can still pre-order cards and sealed product right now on StarCityGames.com. You're going to want to go to StarCityGames.com/previews and check out everything we have available and get your cards in because those will get shipped out on Friday.
Yep. So we also are sponsored by Carnox Chairs. Carnox.com. We're not?
Yeah.
No more?
Has been for a while.
What? I'm sitting in one. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, thanks to you go, whatever. I quit.
Next order of business is going to be the.
I don't work here.
Yeah.
Well, that's why I was surprised you went so hard in on it. I thought you were
Yeah.
I thought I got one. I thought I had one. You know, I thought I really did
Unfortunately.
something.
Next order of business is going to be selling cards because Star City Games is always buying, and the process has never been easier because there are so many ways to do it. You can use the buy list feature on the website. You can mail your cards into SCG and let them do the work for you vis-a-vis grading and sorting. You can come into the store and do your business in person, and if your collection is big enough, you can make an appointment and have Star City Games come to you. So pick whichever option works best for your situation. And always keep in mind that when trading cards in for store credit, you will get a 30% bonus.
Ooh, it used to be 25%, so that's good. They boosted a little bit.
Yeah.
Get that trade value.
Yeah.
So if you want to consolidate, all your old standard cards into a Caracas, you can probably just do that.
You get the new cards that you need because the paper tournaments are finally coming back. Everybody's collections needs to be updated.
Yep.
They are there for you. Next order of business is going to be the Star City Games weekly sale. This week's sale is on gaming supplies. It's 50% off of select supplies. You can find out which items are marked down at starcitygames.com/sale. And remember that sale goes until 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time on Sunday night. They used to go till noon on Monday.
Question mark.
Yeah.
Just like my parties.
Yeah. They used to go till noon on Monday. Now that they're going to be ending Sunday night. So you got a couple more days to check out what's on sale and get some good deals. Do check that out. And then finally, we would like to thank our sponsor, Coalesce Apparel.
Well, I was going to say that one.
Okay, you want to do the Coalesce Apparel?
All right. CoalesceApparel.shop, right?
Yeah.
Is a great website where you can get awesome shirts like this one right here. The 80 is the new 60. If you're a Yorian fan, you can also pick up the Roll Todd shirt as modeled by my good friend Ross Merriam.
Yeah. When you wear their shirt, you always roll Todd.
Well, when you wear that shirt, you always win versus. I don't know if you noticed that. Like, the only time it's ever not happened is when y'all both wore Roll Todd shirts one day. And then it's like somebody's got to lose.
Yeah.
So, well, I guess not.
We've ended in a tie once or twice.
That's fair.
Be sure to use the gift code SCG when checking out there to get 10% off of your purchase from Coalesce
Say
Apparel.
Tuesday, you and Corey both got to wear your NBA Jam shirts you just got, right?
Yes.
MTG Jam is the new cool shirt from Coalesce Apparel.
I was so happy when this came in.
If you are a fan of the MTG or NBA Jam franchise, going back to the early '90s, you're gonna love these shirts. I think there's a couple different variations.
Stoneforge
on
Mystic
them.
and Batter Skull
There's
and
Splinter
Deceiver
Twin.
Exarch and Splinter Twin.
Yeah, I like the Exarch Twin one. That was my shirt.
I lobbied to get a Wyrwood Symbiote and Elvish Visionary.
Their stats would all just be super low
I got
until
no
the
shirt.
one thing is just like combo potential. It's like whoop. Attack one.
I got no
one,
shirt on that one.
Combo potential max.
So that's going to be it for today. I have kept the marbles in the home turf here. But thanks to Todd for filling in. Always love having you here.
A lot of fun.
Corey is going to be back with us on Tuesday for our regularly scheduled show. Not sure what we're doing for that one yet, but whatever is relevant, whatever you all want to see. So get us on social media. Let us know the kinds of formats and things that you want us to play, and we will take that into consideration. But for now, that is going to be it. For Rob, Todd Ederson, I'm Ross Merriam. We will see you on Tuesday.